the National Football League over the last 4 years, statistically, and besides that, these guys are tough. Rodney Hampton, playing with a recently broken hand, spoke to him yesterday and he said, hey, it's only a hand. Chris Warren on the other side of the ball has a sprained ankle. He had blood drained from it this week, and we spoke to him, and he said he uses the pain from that injury to make him more aggressive. Now, that's tough.
You know, I did a game once with a sore throat. That's about as tough as I can get. We're ready.
All right, so the Giants will get the ball. Todd Peterson ready to kick it away to Walker. And we're glad you're with us. Knuckleball, and Walker, the veteran, will let it go into the end zone. What a good break for Seattle. Bad break for the Giants. Instead of getting it at their own 40, which they would have had it gone out of bounds, they'll get it at their own 20. Look at Dave Brown, the quarterback for the Giants. He checks into the game. 6'5", 224 with the bad left knee. He's thrown 5 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions. Up front, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Elliott, Bishop, Williams, Lance Smith, and Doug Riesenberg at the right tackle. The talent, they call him. Hampton and Pierce. Pierce being the H-back. Wide receivers Sherrard and Callaway, and the tight end is Howard Cross. Rodney Hampton, the lone setback, and he'll get the first carry of the day. Pushed the pile forward, got to about the 25, a pickup of 5, and we'll give you a look at the Seattle defense. Up front, Brent Williams, Cortez Kennedy, one of the best. Joe Nash, the longtime 14-year player, and then Michael Sinclair. The linebackers, Wells in the middle with Wooden and Moss on the outside. And the secondary, Corey Harris, Carlton Gray at the corners, and the safeties, Eugene Robinson and Robert Blackman. 2nd and 5, and Hampton again. And these Giants, Tim, aren't too tricky. What they do best is run the ball, and they come out running the ball.
And they're in the situation that they want to be in right now, 3rd and short. More than anything, the #1 focus for the Giants offense today is 1st down. Allowing them to run it on 2nd down, get them into a 3rd and short where they can run or pass. They don't want to put Dave Brown in a predictable situation today with that bad knee.
Hampton got a couple 3rd and 3 coming up. 2 tight ends into the game for the Giants. First pass of the day. Penalty flag on the play as Hampton picks up the 1st down, but we'll check the flag. And it's in the area of a hole. Blackman there to make the stop on Hampton. He got the yardage, but a marker down. And a chop block coming up against the Giants, so that will not count. Referee today is Ed Hockley. He's a lefty. When he gives that 1st down sign, it's the left hand shooting out.
Personal foul, chop block by the offense, numbers 59 and 78. 15-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal. Repeat 3rd down.
You've got Brian Williams and Greg Bishop working on Cortez Kennedy. It's a high-low block. When one guy's up high, the other guy cannot go down low onto his legs. Now, that looked like a bad call to me because usually a penalty like that is where one guy is holding the guy, he's got him up, and the other guy takes a vicious blow to his knees. That was not the case on that play at all.
I think Brian Williams might agree with you.
Yeah,
he came to the line shaking his head. That cost the Giants a 1st down and a 3rd and 16 coming up.
Yeah, if anything, Greg Bishop simply slipped off of Cortez Kennedy, something you'd expect. Another thing you'll expect is to see both of those guys, Williams and Bishop, doubling Kennedy all day.
Passing down, 6 defensive backs into the game for Seattle. Little roll out. No one to throw to, and time for the Giants to punch. That's what they'll do a lot of today, rolling Brown out, buy him a little time, and good coverage by the Seattle secondary.
Well, rolling Dave Brown out or running a bootleg are 2 of the ways that you diffuse that heavy pass rush coming up the middle with Cortez Kennedy and Sam Adams for the Seattle defense.
So now on 4th and 9, it's time for the first punt of the day, and Mike Horan back to punt it away for New York with Joey Galloway, an exciting rookie, waiting deep for Seattle. Beautiful punt. High hanging punt, and Galloway from his 30. Across the 35, brought down at the 38 by Jesse Campbell. Kozlowski also there for New York. Seattle gets it for the first time today. No score.
Only one had the power of Eric Heitman. Only one has the control of Janet Emmons. Only one had the endurance of Greg LeMond.
Rolls. Started last week's game in Arizona on the bench. Came in through a couple of passes, through a couple of interceptions. First play, a pass. Brian Blades, a first down and inside New York territory. They're defending Jesse Campbell. And he got help from Sparks, a pickup of 16, and what a good start by Rick Meyer. Exactly what he needs, and a round of applause for himself.
Yeah, and did you see the way, even though it was a completed pass, did you see the way the Giants secondary just absolutely mauled Brian Blades? That's one thing you can always count on from this New York secondary. A guy may catch a ball, but he's going to pay the price.
Pickup of 16 and a first down for Seattle. Warren, his first of the day, a huge hole, and another first down inside the Giant 35. Give you a look at the offensive line that Warren will be running behind today. Atkins and Joyce, two former defensive linemen, with Sweeney, the longtime Jet, in the middle. Mawai and Howard Ballard, the former Bill, on the right side. Warren and Smith, Galloway, Blades, and Fourier, the rookie tight end. He's a good one. Warren, not much this time, and good pursuit by the Giants defensive front. We'll give you a look at the Giant defense. Michael Brooks made that first stop. Strahan, Agnew, Keith Hamilton, and Robert Harris is the defensive end. The newcomers Harris and Agnew. The linebackers, Michael Brooks in the middle, not a big middle linebacker, with Kroll and Buckley flanking. And the secondary, Randolph and Felipe Sparks. The safeties, Vincey Glenn and Jesse Campbell. Second down and 7. Meyer hammered, brought down by Hamilton.
This is exactly what the Giants defensive line wants to do. Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator, is not going to send a lot of guys on a blitz. He's going to send 4. Watch these 4 guys together. Watch the way they work. Now, a lot of times they're not going to get there immediately right away, as in this play. But if the coverage is there and Meyer has to hold the ball, you're going to see those Giants defensive linemen bringing Meyer down.
First sack of the year for Keith Hamilton. A loss of 3 and a 3rd and 10 coming up. Over the middle, caught. Blades, goodbye. Seattle out in front. What a start for Rick Meyer.
You can't get much better than that for a guy who is searching for his confidence. Rick Meyer has come out and really looked sharp. The only time he didn't have a receiver open, he pulled it in, took the sack. This time he exploits the Giants' 2-deep zone by sending Blades right up the seam.
33-yard touchdown throw from Meyer to Blades, and for Brian, that's his 3rd touchdown of the year. And now Todd Peterson on to tack on the extra point. The holder is the punter, Rick Tootin. Quick strike from the Seattle offense. And Peterson's extra point is perfect. A 5-play drive covering 62 yards, 2.5 minutes off the clock. The Giants are down in a hurry. Blades 33 yards from Meyer, and Seattle in the Kingdome grabs a lead. With 10 minutes left to play here in the first quarter. Meyer starts out 2 for 2 for 49 yards and a touchdown. Blades with the 2 catches. And in under 2.5 minutes, Seattle takes the lead. Good kickoff to Herschel Walker from inside the 5. Big hole. And Walker out across the 30, forced out of bounds by Jay Bellamy.
Well, Vincey Glenn was a hero a week ago with his big plays against the Redskins. You see him there. But watch him here. He's got over-the-top coverage on Blades, and he just flat out misses the tackle. This has been the biggest problem for the Giants defense so far this season. Right there. Misses the tackle. They give up the big play early on. This defense has got to come out and learn to start the game much faster with the intensity they have later in the game.
That, however, is the first touchdown throw against the Giants secondary for better than 20 yards. It was a 33-yard pass. Now Brown to throw, and he answers with a completion to Callaway. And he is into Seattle territory, brought down at the 49. And in a game where you normally would expect to see one team running, the other team running, now the Giants have to try to play catch-up early.
Right, and this is the other thing that you'll expect to see from the Giants today, and that's the play pass that we just saw Dave Brown run. Besides the dash, besides the bootleg, they're going to fake that run, fake the handoff to Hampton, and get the ball away quick.
That was a 19-yard pass completion to Callaway. And on first down, it's Hampton. Great play by the linebacker Winston Moss. And Hampton brought down right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Herschel Walker just flat out misses the block. He lets Moss run right by and nail Hampton in the backfield. Watch Walker here. He's got to make the block. See it right there? He runs right by Winston Moss, allowing him to make that play.
So second down now and a long 9. Buys a little time, bad knee at all, and he dumps it off to Rodney Hampton for a first down, and he rolls inside the Seattle 35.
Brown really showing the same kind of savvy that we saw with Rick Meyer on the last series for Seattle. That's a nice play by Brown. He's patient. He uses his mobility, which is really depleted because of that brace. He uses it anyway, and then he finds Rodney Hampton in the backside of the formation.
That brace is interesting on the leg of Dave Brown. It keeps his left knee perpetually bent. So that knee will not be straight until he takes that thing off after the game.
Yeah, but he said yesterday that it does not affect his throwing motion, and so far that's what we've seen.
Little play fake. Nothing there for Brown, and nearly picked off. Michael Sinclair was the only one there to get it, and Brown almost made a drastic mistake.
Yeah, Dave Brown is just lucky, flat lucky on this play. Here's the influence of Steve DeBerg. The play fake, tucking it, covering the ball up. When he's got no one there, he's got to make the safe throw. That's not a safe throw. That's right into the hands of a defender. Watch Sinclair getting blocked by Riesenberg. Sinclair sees that ball. If he's a linebacker or a defensive back, he catches that ball and he scores 6 points. But he's a defensive end.
Now second and 10 from the Seattle 35. Overthrown Mike Sherrard, the intended receiver, and third and 10 coming up. Good coverage by Carlton Gray, but a poor throw by Dave Brown.
Good coverage and good pressure on Dave Brown. McMackin, the coordinator for the Seahawks, sent everybody on that play. When you send everybody, you see Cortez Kennedy right there in the middle of the screen. You force the Giants offensive line to single block Kennedy. If you single block Kennedy, he will get to the quarterback.
Now Charles Way comes into the game as a fullback. He's in the backfield with Herschel Walker on third and 10. Rush. Brown gets rid of it and completes it to Sherrard down to the 10. Wow. Hard to believe that Brown could find Sherrard. He did. And the Giants have it first and goal inside the 10.
You talk about the savvy. He gets the pressure from Robert Blackman coming untouched right off the corner. Now it's a game of time. Brown knows he's going to get hit. He's got to get that ball off, and he gets it off just perfectly clean. This is a huge play for the Giants.
Sherrard with the catch, and now first and goal from the 9. Two tight ends into the game for New York, and this is Hampton. Down to the 6. Well, the Seahawks, excuse me, Tim, strike in a hurry, and the Giants come right back down the field, and they're moving it.
Yeah, and this is where you expect the Giants to be very strong in the red zone. Now, this season, they have been very good in the red zone, except for when they turn the ball over. So Hampton right now is thinking, hey, I've got to hang on to this ball. And the rest of those guys are thinking, we've got to punch it in.
Hampton 4 fumbles in their last 4 games. Nearly picked off. What a good play by Carlton Gray, the cornerback. He batted away from Aaron Pierce. Good play by Carlton Gray.
Boy, Dave Brown, you love him, and then he scares you to death because he's making these tremendous, savvy plays, and then he'll throw a ball like this, reminiscent of the one he put in Sinclair's hands earlier, where he's just laying that ball in front of a defender there. I mean, he's got to be a little more careful. He needs to, it's hard. He's got to strike the balance between the big play for the Giants and the big play for Seattle.
Down from the 6, 3rd and goal. Herschel Walker, the lone setback. Jump ball, Sherrard, he didn't even see it. 4th down coming up.
Wow.
That was ugly.
That hurts. That's as ugly as it can get, and you have to wonder what Mike Sherrard is looking at. I mean, the only possible explanation is the ring of lights around the inside of this dome, and when the ball goes up high, that's what happens. He loses that ball, and he did not even see that ball being thrown.
And now on 4th and goal from the 6, the Giants bring in one of the best kickers in the NFL this season.
You see this ring of lights up here? That's exactly where the ball was in the trajectory when Sherrard turned to look. He saw nothing.
23-yard field goal attempt by Delwiso, and the Giants are on the scoreboard. Giants had loftier thoughts as they moved the ball down the field, but came up 6 yards short, and Delwiso pops it in from 23. So Seattle here early in the first half, leading by 4.
Introducing.
Look at it so you can see what Mike Sherrard can see. He's looking back for the ball, and where is it? It's nowhere. It's lost in the lights, and that's what he's telling Chris Callaway right now. Hey, I look back, but, that's all I saw. It gets lost up there. And then all of a sudden he sees it at the last second, and now it's too late. A nicely thrown pass, by the way, by Dave Brown. Brown dropped it right in where it had to be.
Brown started out 3 out of 7, 457 yards. Delwiso was good from 23 yards, and Seattle now leading 7-3. Delwiso, one of the best at getting the ball into the end zone on the kickoff, boots it away. This one will be returned by Steve Broussard from inside the 10. Trying to get to the sideline, he will, and grabs a hamstring as he pops out of bounds at the 40. And that might not be the only thing that popped on that play.
Yeah, now the Seahawks are down to 2 running backs. One of them hurt Chris Warren. Broussard normally comes in as his replacement.
32-yard kick return, and at the end you'll see Broussard grab his right hamstring.
Yeah, he makes a nice break to the left, and the reason why he makes such a nice return is its speed. See him outrunning all those guys there in the middle? Well, sometimes when you put on the most speed you've got, that's when you lose the hamstring.
Left hamstring bothering Broussard, and we'll have a timeout on the field as the Seahawks staff looking at Broussard over on the Giants bench. Chris Warren might not have too much help today.
No, but, we said it at the beginning of the game. This guy is just so tough. And it's really amazing to have a guy talk about a sprained ankle, blood being drained from it, and then to say, hey, I just used the pain to make me play more aggressively. That's incredible.
This Seattle running attack is #1 in the AFC, and Warren's a big part of that, but they check in Broussard a lot as a changeup. The top rush offenses in the NFL, but #1 in the AFC is Seattle with 4.7 yards per carry. And we might see a little bit of Lamar Smith today, Tim, who we saw in the preseason. He can run the football.
Yeah, he's quick. He's got good moves. And when you see those kind of numbers, you wonder, how could Seattle be 2-6, putting those kind of rushing numbers on the board, up there with Dallas, up there with Philadelphia? The reason being because of those turnovers we talked about early in the game. Seattle has been -13 in turnovers. That's last in the league. We talked to Dan Reeves yesterday, and he said, heck, if my team was -13 in turnovers, we would be 0-8.
Still waiting for Broussard to get off the field. It's 1st and 10 from their own 41 for Seattle. If you've just joined us, the New York Giants took the opening kick, 3 plays and out. And the Seahawks got it, moved it down the field, a 33-yard pass completion for a touchdown from Meyer to Blades. Now the Giants have answered with a field goal, and Seattle has it for the 2nd time today. Warren stacked up at the line and gets maybe 1, got back to the line of scrimmage, and that was about it.
That was a nice job filling by Michael Kroll, 51 for the Giants. I mean, he just came in there, met the fullback head on, stuffed that hole, gave Warren absolutely no place to go.
Got back to the line of scrimmage, and 2nd down and 10 coming up. Warren, the only setback behind Meyer. 5.5 to play here in the first quarter. Meyer changing it up on the line of scrimmage and throwing. Galloway forced out of bounds right at the 1st down marker. It will depend on the spot as Thomas Randolph pushed him out of bounds, and Joey Galloway, of all the receivers, rookie receivers, this guy might be the best.
Yeah, no doubt he is the best rookie receiver. And what you saw him do on that play was turn around and catch a ball instantly and very fast. That's one thing Joey Galloway had to learn to do coming into the NFL as a receiver, was catch a ball that he couldn't see. How does he do it? Every single day. He stands 10 yards away from a passer. They say go, he flips around and catches that ball coming at him instantly. That's how he's trained his eyes to recognize a ball that he can't see until it's right on top of him.
Well, he got the 1st down, forced out of bounds right at the marker. Seahawks got a good spot in the 1st down for Seattle inside Giant territory. Lamar Smith is in the game and lined up wide to the left. And again, it looks like Myers changing it up on the line. They hand to Warren. Good pickup on 1st down. He got 6, maybe 7. And we'll give you a Green Bay, Minnesota update on a McDonald's game break. Back to Hollywood and James Brown.
And Joe, the Vikings have now won 6 of their last 7 against the Packers in the Metrodome. That a 39-yard field goal with 3 seconds left by Fuad Reves. Vikings win it, stay alive in NFC Central. Back to Joe and Tim.
All right, JB. Well, same song, second verse. Everything's tight in the NFC Central. What's new?
Yeah, and the way those NFC games affect the Giants is at 3 and 5, with the other teams losing, it evens the playing field for the playoffs.
Warren got 6, 2nd down and 4 coming up for Seattle, and the play clock running down. Meyer hangs it up, and it is incomplete. Not picked off. Bensie Glenn made the attempt, but it hit the turf before it went into his arms, and Meyer had to get rid of it before he took a seat.
The pressure on this play comes from Keith Hamilton, 75. He's working on Kevin Mawai, blows right past him, right onto Meyer, makes Meyer throw off of his back foot. This is a ball that Meyer does not want to throw. He wants to take the sack or he wants to throw it away. But that's probably the first mistake we've seen Meyer make all day.
And his first incompletion, and now 3rd and 4. Quick throw, caught by Blades again. Goodbye. Seattle adds to their lead.
Blades had so much speed, he went all the way to the tunnel and then some.
44-yard pass completion from Meyer to Blades, and we talked to Dan Reeves yesterday. He was concerned about this game, even though Seattle's 2 and 6, and now you know why.
Yeah, Dan Reeves was concerned about Galloway's ability to score from anywhere. Dan Reeves and Bensie Glenn are going to see Blades in their nightmares over the next week, because Blades, again, took advantage of Bensie Glenn, ran it up the seam, right up the middle, and Bensie Glenn just missed another tackle.
Not a bad start for Brian Blades. There's still 4:11 left to play in the first quarter. He has 2 touchdowns. He has 93 yards. And Peterson again on to tack on the extra point. 14-3 Seattle. Well, it was a 6-yard completion, but a 44-yard touchdown pass in the books from Meyer to Blades. And this combination looks like it'll be tough today.
Coordinator for the Giants, scheme was sound. On paper, he had that play covered, but in reality, Bensie Glenn missed the tackle. The same tackle he needed to make on Blades' first touchdown, he misses on his second touchdown.
Giants came into the game as the only NFL secondary who had not given up a touchdown pass of 20 or more yards. They've given up 2 here in the first quarter to Seattle. This is Herschel Walker. Across the 20, that is it. And Herschel is hit by Jason Kyle and brought down at the 22.
Take a look at it. It's Blades in the slot. He runs the quick slant. Meyer delivers the pass immediately, and then watch Vency Glenn right in the center of the field. Glenn's, that's his territory. He's got to protect the center field. He just miscues, and you know the reason that hurts the Giants defense all the more is because Vency Glenn is the emotional leader of that secondary and of that defense.
Rick Meyer, 4 out of 5 for 103 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Tyrone Wheatley, who will play on every third possession. This being the third possession, here's Tyrone, and he got it across the 25, brought down at the 27.
That's Dan Reeves' formula for working Wheatley into the lineup and bringing him along. Now, Rodney Hampton, despite what you'd think, is not bitter about this replacement. He says, hey, all right, Wheatley's a good guy. He's a good player. And he gives me a rest, and it makes me feel like, all right, when I'm out, we're not losing that much because Wheatley's still a good back.
He got 5, second down and 5. Wheatley again to the 30, maybe just shy of the 30, and a third down coming up as Cortez Kennedy was there for the Seahawks.
Well, whenever you run the ball up the middle of the formation, Cortez Kennedy is going to be there. I mean, he's a force, and if you don't get him, he's not only big, he's quick. You see him there working on Brian Williams right around him to make this tackle. I mean, he gets in on the tackle, but he's the guy who forces Wheatley to redirect.
Terry Wooden there to help make the stop, and now third down and 2. Good blocking. Pass is caught by Aaron Pierce. The local product, good for a first down out at the 39.
Dave Brown really likes Aaron Pierce. He likes him because he's a big target. He also likes him and respects him for all the positions he has to learn. H-back, tight end, and sometimes playing, as in this play here, as a wide receiver.
Told us if he were in Dallas's scheme, he could be as good as Novacek catching the football.
Probably better because he's bigger.
He got 9, a first down for the Giants, and this is Wheatley. See why they like him. Nifty move. When he gets to the 40, that's it. He picked up a couple.
The difference really between Wheatley, you mentioned it, Joe, it's nifty moves. That is a play where Rodney Hampton just keeps going forward. You never know. I mean, you don't know if going forward is the best thing or not, because sometimes when you cut back and use those nifty moves, that's when you get the big run plays. That's when you break back against the formation, against the pursuit, and you come up with the big touchdowns.
Second down and 8. Brown has time, bombs away for Callaway, incomplete. Corey Harris there defending, but this marks a little change in the approach by Dave Brown.
It does. Until this point in the season, Dave Brown has had problems with his long ball, and as you see Steve DeBerg, the quarterback coach, DeBerg came in and told Dave Brown the way to throw the deep ball is either on the mark or underneath, because then it allows your receiver to come back to the ball and battle it out. But I think for Dave Brown, he's either got to throw it long or on the mark, because he does not have the Herman Moore or the Michael Irvin who have the strength and the size to come back and make the catch on the underthrown pass.
Now third and 8. Brown is sacked. Antonio Edwards, give him 2.5 and a nice little dance.
Antonio Edwards is a young guy who's really come on for this Seattle defense. He's coming on the right side, right over Jumbo Elliott. Gets into him, forces Elliott to put his legs behind him and dig in, and then Edwards uses a nice change of direction and balance to just redirect, come inside, and get the sack.
First Seattle sack of the day, and Mike Horan back for his second punt of the afternoon. Another good punt. Galloway waiting inside his 15. Gets to the edge. Joey Galloway. Touchdown, Seattle. yards for Joey Galloway and his first punt return for a touchdown in the NFL.
And Galloway does it on pure speed. You want to see speed? Watch Galloway take this ball right here. Watch him take it. He breaks back to the left. And now watch all the Giants who've got angles on him. Look at all those defenders, the white jerseys. He makes the move to make the kicker miss. There's one angle who missed. Now, these guys normally can catch a slower guy. Galloway runs a 4.18 in the 40. A lot of people don't believe a guy can be that fast. The Giants special teams defenders believe it now.
A club record for Galloway on the punt return. 89 yards. It was a 54-yard punt. Galloway took care of the rest. Peterson tacks on the extra point. And this first quarter here in Seattle has been a nightmare for the Giants.
Galloway has not had tremendous success with his punt returns this year so far. Not a big punt return average, but all it takes is one big play. And when you've got Galloway's speed, you're always a threat on this big play. Nice block right there by 36 Lamar Smith to help open this up and turn the corner for Galloway. And there you see Herschel Walker missing the tackle. If a guy's outrunning Herschel Walker, you know, you keep talking about the speed, that's as fast as it gets.
89 yards, the punt return for the touchdown, and the Giants wondering what hit them. Under a minute to play here in the first quarter, and Seattle up 21-3.
The worst thing about this whole thing for Dan Reeves is now he's got to come out of his game plan. He cannot win this game now by running the ball, grinding it out, holding on to the ball, handing it off to Rodney Hampton. Now he's got to rely on Dave Brown to make those big throws, make those big plays, and get the Giants back into this game.
Joe DeCamillis now wanting to look at those Polaroids. And they are alive here in Seattle. I think New Yorkers have had enough for 1 year of this crowd being alive in the Kingdome. Peterson to kick it away. Walker and Wheatley back deep. Walker. Cannot answer. Gets to the 22, and that is it. And now penalty flags fly at the tail end of that play. This is the first 21-point first quarter for Seattle since 1987. It's been a while, and they're having fun here at the expense of the Giants in the Kingdome.
One thing Dennis Erickson said to us yesterday, hey, we've got a good team. And we know the things we can do. The problem that we've had has been flat-out turnovers. That's it. You take away the turnovers, and we've played some very tough teams, and we are not a 2-6 team.
Last week, especially frustrating in Arizona. A ton of turnovers. 7 turnovers, 8 fumbles. They lost 3 of them, threw 4 interceptions. And through all that, probably still should have won the game. Referees getting together talking about the foul on that 23-yard kick return by Herschel Walker. And this conference taking a little long.
Well, Dan Reeves was not caught by surprise by the Seattle team. Speaking with him yesterday, he was very concerned about the potential of Seattle.
Foul, spearing by the kicking team, number 20. It's a 15-yard penalty enforced in the end of the run. New York keeps the ball first down.
Jade Bellamy guilty of a spear. And a big penalty for New York as you tack on 15 yards to the end of the kick return.
Well, we're going to see if we can find him out, seek him out somewhere here. There's Bellamy coming in right there. Right there was the hit, and yeah, he put his head down, tucked his head down, hit Herschel Walker helmet to helmet. No question about that being a spear.
And now 1st and 10 from their own 38. Wide open is Sherrard. What a catch at the 45. Poor throw, and that is Mike Sherrard, a 17-yard pickup. Wow.
That's big time, and that's exactly what the Giants need. As I said, the Giants are going to be out of their game plan now. They've got to go to the air. They've got to rely on their passing game, something that they don't want to do, something that they're not used to. Again, with the play action fake, Dave Brown, as you said, throwing this ball way too high. Mike Sherrard with an outstanding effort to come up with it.
Two tight ends into the game on first down from the Seattle 45. Down plenty of time, airs it out. Sherrard again, underthrown and incomplete. Corey Harris defending for Seattle. And this time Dave Brown underthrows Sherrard.
You have to almost wonder if Dave Brown went back to the sideline after he overthrew Sherrard and had Steve DeBerg say, see what I'm talking about? You can't overthrow that ball. Because there's Steve DeBerg. He believes in throwing the ball, as I said, on the money or underneath and making the receiver come back and fight for it.
Brent Williams and Joe Nash check out defensively for Seattle. Antonio Edwards and Sam Adams in to rush the passer on 2nd and 10. Big pressure, Callaway at the 40. A pickup of 5 and a 3rd and 5 coming up. Terry Wooden, another tackle, and for Wooden, that's his 5th of the first quarter. Quarter number 2 coming up. The Giants can only hope it'll get better from here on out. Seahawks 21-3. Low in that first quarter. That's the most points a Giants defense has given up in the first quarter since 1984 in San Francisco. This is not exactly the 49ers attack.
Yeah, and the destruction in that promo, not, you know, kind of reminiscent of what's happened here to the Giants defense, because Seattle has really blown them up more than anything. I mean, you had the one punt return, but defensively, they've been beat by Vincey Glenn's 2 missed tackles. That's not something you expect from Vincey Glenn. It's not something you expect from the Giants defense. But remember this, the best thing about the Giants defense is they've been slow to start. They typically come together and play much better in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th quarters.
They'll need to. 3rd and 5. Another rollout. Brown will take it, and Brown will slide forward and get a first down. He got inside the 35, and that should be enough for a first down. The numbers in the first quarter, not dominated by Seattle, but that punt return really hurt the Giants.
Yeah, the punt return put the Giants over the top. And if you look at the time of possession here, the Giants have controlled the ball, but Seattle scoring very quick. The other big number here is 0 turnovers here for Seattle. That's not typical for them. They've turned the ball over. They're minus 13, last in the NFL in turnover ratio. Turned it over time and time again, but so far today, they've protected the ball. That and Vincey Glenn's missed tackles are the difference in this game.
Now first down from the Seattle 35. Hand off to Walker. Herschel got a couple. Came into this game averaging 4.2 yards per carry, but hasn't done, I don't think, what the Giants hoped he would coming to New York.
No, this play here is really nothing more than a changeup, because Herschel Walker, as a runner, is not an inside runner anyway. If you here look at the first down plays, 6 so far running, 3.2 yard average, 4 plays passing, 8.8 yard average.
Now second down, wide open across the middle, and down at the 20 is Sherrard. Making the stop, Winston Moss. So impressive by Dave Brown and the Giants. Could have been deflated. They are not, and they've gone right back down the field.
Yeah, and with Brown passing it, again, that's not the thing that you expect the Giants to do, but they're forced into it with a 21-3 deficit. When you talk about those first down numbers, remember, that's where the Giants wanted to be. They wanted to get a lot of yards on first down, so to prevent from Dave Brown being in a known passing situation.
He got 12 on that last completion to Sherrard, and now Hampton. Rodney Hampton down inside the 10, and a 1st and goal coming up for the Giants. Eugene Robinson had to bring him down from the free safety spot.
We saw Herschel Walker miss his block before. Watch him here with the block on Winston Moss. Drives Moss out of the hole, and that's what breaks Hampton free on this play. So Herschel missed one before. He makes one now. Rodney Hampton also makes Terry Wooden, number 90, miss.
First down from the 10, and 3 tight ends into the game for the Giants. Hampton nearly lost the football, got to the 9, maybe the 8. That's it. Looked like that ball almost popped out of there again.
Yeah, that's something that the Giants obviously afraid of. You mentioned before, Rodney Hampton with 4 fumbles since he had his broken hand. Really, it's amazing that Hampton is playing or has played with this injury. When he first did it, I don't know if you remember, but in the newspapers, people were saying, well, look, the guy's out. He's got a broken hand. But to Hampton, a broken hand means nothing. He put it out of his mind. He's had a couple fumbles, but just great display of courage and toughness.
2nd and goal from the 8. All alone, Walker, touchdown, New York. That was easy. 8-yard throw from Dave Brown, and the Giants coming back.
That's the advantage of success running the football, because when you can run the ball, you can make the play fake work, draw the secondary linebackers up, and then you sneak a Herschel Walker out into the end zone.
Brad Delwiso on for the extra point. He has been perfect packing on extra points this season. That was the first touchdown for Herschel Walker as a Giant. And a good drive covering 62 yards on 9 plays. Delwiso good again. And the Giants come back. They climb right back into it. Walker good from 8 yards out. His first touchdown as a New Yorker. Brown into the corner. Giants back in it, trailing by 11.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the all-new Plymouth Voyager, the next generation of the minivan. By the new Braun Flex Integro for Braun's closest shave yet. By Aflac, ensuring over 38 million people worldwide. And by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good.
The fixation with coffee in this city is insane.
Did you say that because I just took a sip? Or?
You know how they came up with Sleepless in Seattle. Corey Harris back deep to take the kick. Steve Broussard out with a bad hamstring. He will not return, and Harris across the 25. Not a bad return for Corey. And back to the touchdown throw to Walker.
We talked about the play fake. To have the play fake work, you've got to be able to run the ball, which the Giants can. Now watch the fake here. Dave Brown, nice job of tucking it in. Hampton bends over, fakes him out, and that springs Herschel Walker free in the end zone. Watch Walker here. Corey Harris, number 30's got coverage on him, but Harris comes up to make the play on the run. See, there he comes up to play the run. Too late. Walker's behind it.
Dave Brown on that last drive, 4 out of 5 for 42 yards and the touchdown. And now Seattle takes over. Warren, not much. And for the most part, good work in this first half by the Giants front defensively.
Seattle right now, offensively, wants to run the ball. They want to control the ball. They've had a nice early lead. Rick Meyer has looked sharp. Now, you don't want to push a good thing too far because, remember, Meyer is still the guy with 14 interceptions. So, try to run the ball, try to control it, keep it easy for Meyer.
2nd down and 9. Third down coming up. Good work by Felipe Sparks to force Warren out of bounds. He got to the 31. That was it. And a 3rd and 7 coming up. It's fun to get the tapes and listen to every announcer across the country butcher this guy's first name. Felipe.
We got it. Named after the chapter in the Bible, Philippians. Which I don't know how, because if it's Philippians in the Bible, how do you get Felipe? But I'm not going to argue with it. He's a heck of a player.
5 defensive backs, including Felipe, on 3rd down. That pass incomplete. Intended receiver James McKnight. That ball hopped in there to him. But Rick Meyer doing a little more of what you expect. Bought some time, threw on the run, something he can do and something Dennis Erickson wanted him to do.
Yeah, he had to buy time because Michael Strahan was breathing down his neck. So Meyer absolutely doing what he came into this game setting out to do. Scrambling under pressure, using his elusiveness to beat the pass rush.
And on 4th and 7, Rick Tootin out to punt for the first time today. Pro Bowler last year gets off a good one. And Arthur Marshall with a fair catch back around the Giant 20. Very good punt by Rick Tootin, 50 yards, and the Giants get it back. 10-14 left to play in the first half. Giants down by 11. Well, over the last 5 seasons, Seattle has been over the 500 mark only once. That was back in 1990, their low point being 1992 at 2-14. This is the first year for head coach Dennis Erickson, and a guy who's not used to this. 2 national championships at Miami, and throughout his career in college, 1-13-40-1. Good play by the front for Seattle. Brent Williams coming up to stop Rodney Hampton. He just did get back to the line of scrimmage. One of the best things about the Giants is their run game, their offensive line working together, Rodney Hampton running the ball. When you see Brent Williams come through the line like that unencumbered, you know somebody missed a block. Now Herschel Walker in the backfield for the Giants on 2nd and 10. To the 24, and a 3rd down coming up for New York. You got 4 and a 3rd and 6 coming up. Six defensive backs check into the game. Tony Covington at a safety spot. Tony Brown as an extra defensive back. And Robert Blackman slips up and plays at a weak side linebacker. 3rd and 6. Sam Adams a little quick. Was he drawn off? We'll wait and see. Ed Hockley will give us the call. If this is against Seattle, it'll be a 3rd and 1 coming up.
Encroachment by the defense, number 98. Contact before the snap. 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
They'll give him the 1st down, so a costly penalty by Sam Adams.
Yeah, Sam Adams just comes. He tries to get that anticipation, tries to get the jump that every defensive lineman wants to get. Adams, a 1st-round draft choice with only 1 sack this season. So he's a disappointment. He's trying to turn the corner, get across the line, make a sack. Instead, he turns the corner, goes the other way.
1st down for the Giants from just shy of their own 30. To the sideline and caught by Pierce. Stays in bounds and gets a 1st down. Now they say he stepped out of bounds just shy of a 1st down as Carlton Gray came up and popped him. But what good body control for a big man to stay in bounds.
Yeah, and watch Hampton with the block, protecting Dave Brown's backside, giving Brown the time to throw, then Pierce's body control turns into a fullback. We saw Jumbo before have problems with Antonio Edwards. You really rarely beat Jumbo more than once.
Just a little short of a 1st down, 2nd and inches. Hampton, 1st down Giants. At their own 42. For the most part, the Seattle defense has not been able to stop the Giants' running attack, and then when Browns put it in the air, he's been very effective.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants offensively are not looking bad at all. Things are going well for them. They're gelling. It's the defense that's hurt them, and it was the punt return, the special teams, and Galloway's speed that burned them.
Steve Broussard leaving the playing field with a bad hamstring. He will not return. On 1st down, the pump fake. Sherrard intercepted by Seattle, now dropped by Eugene Robinson. Well, he had it, and when he hit the turf, it popped out. And again, it looked like Sherrard was late in looking up for the football.
Well, one thing that does, when you're in the 2 deep coverage, which Seattle was there on this play, it allows a safety, Eugene Robinson, to be over the top. And when you've got a guy over the top, you must throw that ball more towards the sideline. You cannot throw it towards the middle of the field.
Penalty
illegal
flag on the far
motion
side of the
by
field.
the offense. Number 88 was moving forward before the snap. The penalty is declined. Result of the play is incomplete. 2nd down. Correction, number 84.
So it's not Sherrard, it's Aaron Pierce, and a 2nd and 10 coming up.
Really, the only thing that we've seen not work for the Giants offense today has been the long ball, the long pass. Otherwise, they've been very sharp.
Eugene Robinson almost came away with an interception. Instead, the Giants have it 2nd and 10. Over the middle, caught Marshall. He's short of a first down by a couple. Eugene Robinson there to bring him down for Seattle, a pickup of 8.
Dave Brown again on that play, enjoying time because Lance Smith is working on Joe Nash, and he melts him. That's what you say when you block a guy that good. You say you melted him.
Pickup of 8 and a 3rd and 2 coming up. First down catch by Pierce, brought down at the 41, and that time the Giants came up to the line. In a blink, they snapped the ball. I'm not so sure the Seattle defense was ready.
No, they weren't, and that's a nice play by Dave Brown because he came up right to the ball, snapped the ball. Nobody's ready. That ensures that you're not going to get instant pressure in your face, and it allows you to make that short, quick pass.
Pierce got 9 and a 1st and 10 for New York. From the Seattle 41. Hampton. Inside the 35. Pickup of 7, 2nd and 3 coming up. Corey Harris there to make the stop for Seattle.
Lance Smith, we saw him melt Joe Nash on a pass play. Now watch him on this play, pulling around and melting another Seattle defender to free Hampton up. Watch him on Terry Wood. There he goes, melts him down. Hampton picks up a big gain. Big enough.
2nd down and 3. Hampton again, nothing, and Joe Nash is there to stone him. Joe Nash is a guy who's been around for 14 seasons. Played collegiately at Boston College. He was a college free agent pickup back in '82.
And he just works off of his block. He's not going to let Lance Smith get him 2 times in a row.
Hampton got back to the line of scrimmage, and a 3rd down and 3 facing New York. Hampton 10 carries for 32 yards. He's out of the game, and Herschel Walker in the backfield behind Dave Brown. Penalty flag on the play. It looked like Dave Brown was looking for a little shuffle pass. It wasn't there, and then he threw low to Herschel Walker. Michael Sinclair had the pressure on Brown, and I think that's what happened. And an ineligible man downfield against New York.
Yeah, Dan Reeves expressing himself aptly. That's
ineligible receiver downfield by the offense. Number 92. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
Can't be number 92 because that's Michael Strahan and he's on defense. But when you run this shuffle pass or a screen or anything like it, the danger is that those guys get downfield before it's thrown, and it's going to be a penalty. But as you said, look, there's too many Seattle defenders in front of that pass to make it a shuffle.
And now on 4th and 3, the Giants will go for it from the Seattle 35. Down by 11. Little pooch punt by Brown. And the fair catch called for by Eugene Robinson. That didn't do much of anything. Wow. Gets the ball to the 20. I'm surprised they just didn't line up and go for it.
I mean, two ugly plays in a row, and I'm with you. When you're down by 11, take a roll at it. The season's on the line now.
Trying to get tricky, and that trick didn't work. Brown, not a good punt. Seahawks take over.
The advantage of Dave Brown punting the ball in this situation is to keep it out of the hands of Joey Galloway. Keep the defense on the field. Dave Brown has punted before, twice last season, but he's got to get less air underneath it. He's just got to dribble that down the field.
Those of you joining us late, Joey Galloway had an 89-yard punt return for a touchdown, but that didn't accomplish anything. Picked up 15 yards in field position. That's it. Meyer overthrows Fourier, the tight end. Rick a little strong, a 2nd and 10 facing Seattle. The Seahawks have scored with some big plays, and they did it early here today in the Kingdome. Meyer to Blades, 33 yards. Meyer to Blades, 44 yards. And then Joey Galloway, the rookie, 89 yards on the punt return. 2nd down and 10. Warren. For the 23, and that's it. Wrapped up by Ray Agnew. And 3rd and long, 3rd and 7 coming up for Seattle.
One thing the Giants defense has done well today, they didn't defend the pass down the seam well, but they have controlled the run game and controlled Chris Warren pretty aptly. Six rushes for only 25 yards.
Put on the pressure, Dave.
Now 3rd and 7. With 5 defensive backs in the game, they tossed to Warren. We saw this watching film yesterday, Tim, on this little toss or the pitch. It does nothing. This is not a good play for Seattle.
No, it's Chris Warren's worst play, and it's not Warren's favorite play. Talking to Warren yesterday, he told us his favorite play is the off tackle because it gives him 3 options, 3 ways to go. He can either take it if the holes are off tackle, he can bounce it outside, or he can cut it back against the grain of the defense.
Rick Tootin on for his 2nd punt of the day. In Seattle, Seahawks have had 2 straight 3-and-out series. Arthur Marshall back deep for New York. Not a very good punt. Marshall from inside the 45. Into Seattle territory and brought down at the 48. We'll pose our Aflac trivia question as we go to break. In this decade, only 3 teams have made the playoffs after a 3-5 start. That's what the Giants are right now. Can you name those 3 teams? Answers coming up. Here's the answer to our Aflac trivia question. Only 3 teams have done it the hard way. A 3-5 start, making the playoffs in 1990 New Orleans, 94 San Diego, as did the New England Patriots. The Giants start out this season 3-5, hoping for a win here today, and then they'll go home next week and take on Oakland.
And the reason, despite the schedule, that you believe the Giants are still in it is because what they did last year, winning 6 out of the last 6.
On 1st down, Brown throws and finds his tight end Howard Cross, gets it to the 40, and the Giants starting with their best field position of the day after just the 34-yard punt by Tootin, looking pretty good down 21-10.
This play-action pass may be the best discovery for the Giants offense so far this year. Everyone looking at Wheatley, no one looking at Brown. Howard Cross wide open, just like we saw with Herschel Walker on the touchdown.
He got 8. 2nd down and 2. Walker hit immediately and fights for a 1st down. He broke the tackle of Dean Wells, forced out of bounds by Brent Williams, and he got a Giant 1st down.
Well, Herschel Walker hasn't made a lot of tremendous plays this season, but this right here ranks up as one of his best so far because he takes a big hit, he rebounds off of it, and keeps going. That's why he's here. He's here to be a possession guy, to catch the ball out in space, and then win one-on-one with a defender.
Herschel Walker today, 2 catches for 15 yards and a touchdown. He just picked up a 1st down. He got 7, and forcing him out of bounds with Brent Williams, and Brent limps off the field. And with that, the game clock stops at 2:45. The Giants have all 3 of their timeouts remaining and the 2-minute warning, so right now down by 11. Time is not a factor at all for New York. They have a 1st down at the Seahawk 33.
This is a series where the Giants really want to take advantage of the field position they got because they got the ball in Seattle territory. So now they really need to move in and score and close the gap going into halftime.
Not a bad 1st half for Dave Brown. 13 out of 21 for 148 yards and a touchdown. And the Giants line up 1st and 10 with Walker and Wheatley in the backfield. End around to Callaway. Down the sideline is Walker, and nothing there. Winston Moss was there step for step, and Sherrard was covered downfield. And now a penalty flag. Will have a personal foul roughing the passer and another big penalty against Seattle. Brown hit after the play, and this will cost the Seahawks dearly.
Well, Seattle wanted to rattle Dave Brown, knowing that his knee was hurt coming into this game. They really believed that they could make his feet
Personal
nervous.
foul, roughing the passer by the defense, number 98, Unnecessary roughness driving the quarterback into the ground. 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's Sam Adams again trying to make a big play. When you get that quarterback and you get your hands on him, you've got to take your weight off of him. That's a new rule this year, and really it's a bad rule because as a defensive tackle, when you get your hands on that quarterback, you don't know if he's still holding the ball or if he's got rid of it. If your head is down around his waist, you've got to bring him down.
Third penalty of the day, marked off against Seattle. And now first down from inside the Seahawks 20. Big rush, corner of the end zone, and again, Sherrard doesn't even see it. But this time, Dave Brown just had to get rid of it under big pressure.
It's a nice decision by Dave Brown, and throwing the ball away, you say, how could it be a nice decision? It is, because he's got too many guys coming at him. And really, he sees that Sherrard is open. He gets the ball in the general vicinity, but it's not accurate enough. And again, Sherrard loses that ball in the lights. Really, the Giants receivers and passing game do not know the stadium. They're not playing the stadium because in the stadium, you can't loft the ball.
Now second and 10. Walker. Penalty flag on the play as Walker gets it inside the 15. And this is in the area of a hold. And it is. So the personal foul, roughing the passer against Seattle. Now an important holding call against the Giants.
By the offense, number 78, 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
That's Greg Bishop, his second penalty. We saw him before with the high-low chop block. He's blocking Cortez Kennedy. And, you know, you really start to get the feeling that the officials are keeping their eye on Kennedy because he is such a force. And when a defensive lineman is a big force in there, you're going to watch him a little more closely than anyone else. But Greg Bishop just loops him around the ankle, and the flag comes flying.
Now we're down to the 2-minute warning. Didn't look like much of a hold, but it cost the Giants 10 yards in a 2nd and 20 coming up. 2 minutes left here in the first half, a very busy first half in Seattle. When they were growing up on the streets of New York, they used to break the law. Now they are the law. The hippest cops on television work the toughest beat in the nation. New York Undercover, Thursday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on Fox. A big possession here for the Giants, down after the first quarter, 21-3. Now down 21-10. And they have a second down and 20 inside the Seattle 30. What do you think of that hold call against Bishop?
It looked bad. I mean, it was a bad call. Another bad call resulting from the officials keeping their eyes on Cortez Kennedy.
2nd and 20. Brown wide open. Sherrard, touchdown. 28-yard throw from Dave Brown. And Sherrard pops it in, and the Giants are within 5 with the extra point coming up.
And who would have thought that the Giants, down 21-3, we said, hey, they've got to go to the air. Dave Brown's got to put that ball up. Who would think they could be this successful with it?
The Giants here will spend a timeout, and the reason being they're going to talk it over, and you would expect them to go for 2. They're down by 5. A successful 2-point conversion, they'd be down by 3. Boy, Sherrard was wide open.
He was wide open. Watch him right here at the top of the screen. He beats the man coverage, and then the help from the safety comes too late. There it is. Nice play by Sherrard, and nice pass by Dave Brown. That's the best deep ball we've seen Dave Brown throw all day. Eugene Robinson is the safety there, number 41. He is a guy who blew out his Achilles tendon last season, and he lost speed because of it. And it hurt him on that play. Good first half for Sherrard. 4 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown. And Dave Brown will come back into the lineup, and it looks like the Giants are lining up to go for 2. The Giants this season are 1 for 1 on 2-point tries. And that came from Rodney Hampton. Trying to make it a 3-point Seattle lead. Again, he did not get it. And
And it's a 5-point game with 1:55 left to play here in the first half.
Rodney Hampton on that play just lunged too soon. He leaves his feet too quickly. Watch him here. He gets the handoff. Now watch him lunge. He lunges, he trips. It's just too soon, and he comes up really only inches short. That doesn't count. I mean, once those knees are down, Rodney, the goal line doesn't mean anything anymore.
You know, it looked like, I don't know if it was an intentional lunge. It looked like he just lost his footing and did all he could to get to the goal line.
Oh, yeah, he did. I mean, he trips. He got it. I don't know if it was the turf monster or what it was, but he left his feet too early.
So it's a 5-point game, and the Seahawks will get it back with all 3 of their timeouts remaining and 1:55 left to go in the half.
Well, this is a time where the Seahawks, I don't think, want to tempt fate, because once again, remember, they've been plagued by turnovers. So you don't want to air the ball out because it stops the clock for the Giants. And with 1:55 and the way this Giants offense and Dave Brown have been working, they could turn right around and score again if Seattle goes 3 and out on pass plays.
Dave Brown, 14 out of 23 for 176 yards and 2 touchdowns here in the first half. Brad Del Wiso kicks it away for the Giants. Corey Harris back deep from inside the 5. Across the 20, and that was it. #1 special teams tackler is Corey Whitmer. He was there to meet Corey Harris, one Corey to another, and he was brought down around the 23. How big have turnovers been for the Seattle Seahawks? Their first 4 games, they lost only 1 fumble. They were 2-2. They threw 4 interceptions, but the turnovers, the last 4 have killed them.
Yeah, here it is. First four games, 2-2 with 5. Last 4 games, 0-4 with 17 turnovers. 17 turnovers, you've got to go 0-4.
None today, and the Seahawks are leading by 5. 1:48 left to play here in the first half. Hit and forced out of bounds by Felipe Sparks. And a second down coming up. Clock is still running. 1.5 left in the first half. You can hear the Seattle bench complaining to the officials that the clock ought to be stopped. Looked like Meyer got out of bounds. Evidently he did not. And penalty flags fly before the snap. Really wonder why the clock wasn't stopped on that scramble by Meyer as he got out of bounds.
Snap. 5-yard penalty remains, second down.
Let's go back to the end of that previous play and see if Meyer gets out of bounds.
Well, one thing you have to remember about with a quarterback is they will blow the whistle early. So when he gets hit there and stops, they blow the whistle and stop it. Should they have? I don't know if they should have or shouldn't have, but the fact is, once the whistle blows, that's where he's marked down, and when the whistle blew, he was still in bounds.
Plays. Good for a first down, and the Seattle Seahawks are not conservative at all. They'll spend a timeout, and with 1:08 left in the half, they have 2 timeouts remaining, and they're not content with a 5-point halftime lead.
No, I mean, absolutely contrary to what you would think they do. You'd think they'd protect that 5-point lead going in.
Coming up on the Dockers halftime, all the scores from around the NFL coming up on the Dockers halftime.
One reason why the Seattle Seahawks probably have chosen to go to the air is to continue to build Rick Meyer's confidence. He's had a great first half. He's thrown 2 touchdown passes and no interceptions. So they're continuing to kind of fuel his confidence, fuel his fire by saying, okay, now run the 2-minute drill and score again. Dave Brown on the other side, we said coming into this game, both quarterbacks had to work on their confidence. Coming into the second half of this game, we're going to see 2 quarterbacks that have reestablished themselves in their own minds.
Meyer, you see the numbers, 2 touchdowns, 116 yards, but more importantly, no interceptions. John Freeze was the starter last week in Arizona. He has a separated left shoulder and some ligament damage in that shoulder. He is available only in an emergency for Seattle. But Meyer is doing just fine. First down from their own 35. Meyer bombs it deep, and Campbell Campbell cannot make the interception for the Giants. The only man there, really, Jesse Campbell, had the best shot at it. And he nearly came away with his first interception of the year.
Yeah, and that would have reversed Meyer's trend. Meyer using the scramble. This is one thing he said yesterday he wanted to do. He spoke to his dad this week, and his dad said, look, Rick, you can scramble, you can run, and use your mobility to make big plays. So he does a nice job with his scramble. Then he does not so nice a job by getting rid of that ball and giving Campbell an opportunity to intercept it.
2 timeouts remaining for each side, and now second down and 10.
Go inside!
It is picked off by the Giants and Felipe Sparks. He didn't get it initially, and he came away with it, and there is the 15th interception of the season thrown by Rick Meyer.
Yeah, and now the crowd is booing him. It's unnecessary for him to try to force this ball in here. Great break, great play by Felipe Sparks. I mean, that's outstanding cornerback play. Watch him change direction and cut right in front of this ball, and then the concentration to bat that ball, keep his eyes on it, to steal it. And this is exactly what I said that Seattle was going to run into if they tried to force the ball down the field and take too much of a good thing.
Well, the first half was looking terrific for Meyer, but now one of his last 5 for 11 yards and an interception. And it's really conceivable that the Giants could head in to the locker room at halftime with a lead.
Well, as I said before, the way Dave Brown has been moving this offense, and now he's in Seattle territory again, you can't be surprised at all if they close that gap even further.
First down for New York, and Brown to put it up. Callaway out of bounds inside the 35, and a first down for the Giants, forced out of bounds by Corey Harris. Up at one point, 21-3, and the Seahawks are clawing, trying to keep the lead as we near halftime.
Yeah, not only clawing, Dennis Erickson's got to be sick to his stomach for not trying to protect that 5-point lead, running it out with Chris Warren. Instead, tempting fate. I said you're going to tempt fate if you have Meyer put it in the air. He's had a solid half. Let him build on that and go into the halftime with a 5-point lead.
On first down, Brown to the corner. It is caught by Sherrard, and what a half for Mike Sherrard. He's out of bounds inside the 2.
Did I say before that Dave Brown doesn't have a Herman Moore or a Michael Irvin? Maybe, in fact, he does, because the way Sherrard, look at that footwork. I mean, that's incredible. Concentration, leaping, fighting for the ball, and watch the footwork. 1, 2, with his feet crossed. That's a play that you'd see Jerry Rice or Michael Irvin be proud of. So Mike Sherrard, this is a breakthrough game for him.
Mike Sherrard, who last year was upset that Dave Brown was not throwing his way, has a touchdown today, has over 100 yards on 5 catches, and he and Dave Brown in a pretty tough tandem for the Seattle secondary to control. And now from the 2, a first and goal for the Giants. Trying to take the lead for the first time today. Hampton to the goal line and not in yet. Touchdown. And the Giants take the lead here as we near the end of the first half. And this has been a monumental collapse for the Seahawks.
Yeah, this typifies a backfire. I mean, a total botch in strategy to not go in with that lead, to turn the ball over and allow the Giants to come back. And then Hampton leaping. This time, he gets that ball. There he goes. He gets the stretch, gets the couple inches he didn't get on the 2-point conversion only minutes ago.
And now again, they will try the 2-point conversion. And a timeout is taken on the field. So Hampton gets in. The Giants have the lead. Seahawks spend a timeout because New York is going to go for a 2-point conversion again.
Yeah, it's just the simple math of it. They've got the 1-point lead, so a 1-point conversion gives them 2 points. That's nothing. It's the same as a 1-point, but a 2-point conversion gives them a 3-point and a field goal edge. Does that all make sense?
That's wonderful. That was terrific.
Did you tell that I was a math teacher in my former life?
You know, when you look at the Giants side, Dan Reeves facially Bodily, he is a different man than he was in the first quarter. The first quarter was horrible for the Giants. And as bad as it was for New York, the second quarter has been even worse considering what the Seahawks have done.
Well, remember what I said about that Giants defense. They have typically this season played a bad first quarter. That's when they're their weakest, but they've also typically turned it around and played much better for the rest of the game. So they've done that, and then Dave Brown on the offense has done their part as well.
On 2-point conversions, throwing the ball, a 50-50 chance this season in the NFL. Running at 33% chance. Giants are already 0 for 1 today. They'll try to throw, incomplete, and the Giant lead is only 1. Arthur Marshall, the intended receiver.
Well, Dave Brown gave him an opportunity. It might not have been an easy catch to make, but he does put the ball within Marshall's grasp. He throws it off balance and a little too quickly, and that makes it a tough, long stretch for Marshall.
So the bad throw, and again, the Giants come up empty on the 2-point try. Second time that's happened here in the first half with 32 seconds left in the half. Brown is upset, but sure deep down he's looking at the scoreboard a very happy man.
Yeah, he shouldn't be too upset because he has orchestrated a tremendous turnaround from a 21-3 deficit, and now the Giants go into halftime with the lead and with a tremendous amount of momentum.
A lot of questions about Dave Brown. 221 yards in the first half. He told us yesterday he still feels like he's almost on a job interview, trying to prove to everybody that he's good enough to be the Giants starting quarterback. He is a solid person, and he has really kept himself under control.
Yeah, he does, and I know you and I, we both admire him. He's a pleasant guy to talk to, and he's got his head together. Now, the thing he's got to think about is, last week he put together a great first half against the Redskins. He came out in the second half and really came up with nothing. He did not look good at all. Now, today, he's got to be thinking, I'm going to come out and do it for a whole game.
Brad Del Wiso to kick it away. Not much of a chance for a return as Steve Smith takes it from the 25, gets to the 35, and that's it. Corey Miller there to make the stop for the Giants. A return of 10 yards, and the Seahawk offense comes limping back onto the field. What a half for Mike Sherrard. Over 100 yards and some acrobatic catches going one way and going the other. The latest getting both feet in bounds to set up the 1st and goal.
Yeah, the only thing that's been able to defend Mike Sherrard today has been that ring of lights around the stadium. Those are the only passes he hasn't come up with, are the ones he hasn't seen.
During the half, the Seahawks might put an extra bank of lights up there to do anything they can to slow him down. First down, and Meyer to throw. Galloway, the intended receiver, nothing there, and Sparks with good coverage for the Giants. 18 seconds left in the half.
Well, they got to be careful here, because if he keeps putting the ball up like that, Felipe Sparks and one of these other guys, Vincey Glenn, they may steal another one. And the way Sherrard's been playing, the Brown-Sherrard connection could put you into scoring range again.
But on top of just the raw statistics and the score, the confidence and the ego of Rick Meyer, it looked like it was going to be a great day for Erickson and Meyer. And here at the end of the first half, you talk about a sour taste in your mouth. Now 2nd down and 10. Meyer dumps it off to Warren. Kroll can't catch it. Finally dragged down as he picked up a 1st down. Willie Beeman there to make the stop, and the Seahawks will spend their final timeout, a pickup of 11. And they're still in their own territory as Warren is now down. The Seahawks have it around their own 46-yard line.
The thing that makes Warren being down doubly bad is, remember, they've lost Steve Broussard, Warren's backup, earlier in the game. So if they don't have Warren and they don't have Broussard, and Warren may come back and play. If anybody can, he will. But I'm saying if they don't have him, now even more pressure is on Rick Meyer in the second half.
A lot of people wonder. Give you the answer. Seattle will receive the second half kickoff. So they better pump up the ego and the confidence of Rick Meyer in that locker room, or this could be a long day and an ugly second half for the Seahawk offense.
Here's the run. It's not a run. It's a short pass and then a run, but just like a run with Chris Warren. And then we'll try to take a look and see what happens to him. I said before, one thing you know from the Giants defense is They're going to hit you, and they're going to hit you hard. If you make yardage on them, they will make you pay for it.
Well, really the last running back, pure running back, that the Seahawks have. The last halfback is Lamar Smith. He's into the game for Seattle. Meyer, 7 out of 13 big yards, but an interception. There's Lamar Smith. We may see a lot of him before the end of the day. Giants leading by a point and only 9 seconds left in the half. Seattle does not have a timeout remaining, so the half is over. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and now the game clock has run out. A 22-yard pickup. Without timeouts, it makes absolutely no sense to throw to the middle of the field, and the first half comes to a close. 22-yard pickup, but the first half is over with a score: the Giants 22, the Seahawks 21. Stay tuned for the Dockers halftime. It's coming up next.
Dockers Halftime is brought to you by Dockers Khakis, proud makers of nice pants.
All right, and welcome to the Dockers Halftime. Along with Terry Bradshaw, I'm James Brown. The Giants have battled back from a 21-3 deficit to take a 1-point lead at the half over Seattle.
Galloway, Joey Galloway, great name, JB, turns around the corner. He'll take this baby 89 yards all the way touchdown, as Seattle had jumped out early with a 21-3 lead over the Giants. But back comes Brown. Sideline, Sherrod, touchdown. In this half alone, 19 unanswered points by the Giants as they have the halftime lead, 22-21.
Dave Brown, impressive numbers as you see there. Steve Young warming up but did not start.
Got a sprained left shoulder. Third straight start for Elvis Gerbach. Turns around, doesn't see Tim McKyer. Pumps once, twice. McKyer there all the way. He will go 96 yards. Touchdown as Carolina shocks the 49ers in the first half. There were 2 fumbles going in the 49ers. This is the second one. John Taylor, good job by Gerbach. Steps up over the middle, finds John Taylor. Good action, moves, trying to get to the end zone. Ball stripped, knocked down. Fumble recovered by Carolina at the 1. Jerry Rice also had the ball knocked down at the 1. And Carolina, looking for their 4th straight win, lead the 49ers 13-10.
Tom Capers' opportunistic defense doing the job. Rookie of the Year candidate Terrell Davis, 81 yards in the first half.
46 defense is a hard defense to read. It's a hard defense to block. That's why it's hard to run on. But Terrell Davis doing a good job. Hogue steps up. Terry tries to stop up the Broncos in the first half, 24-6 over Buddy Ryan's Cardinals.
Buffalo and Indianapolis, as we take a look at that third quarter score, Bills on top 16-7. Pittsburgh and Chicago, the Steelers holding to a touchdown lead in the third quarter. Minnesota and Green Bay, Brett Favre hurt here.
Aaron Taylor, left guard of the Packers, steps on Favre's left ankle. He leaves, has it, X-ray, returns in the second half, but is ineffective, going 3 for 10 and 19 yards. But Chris Carter hooks up with Moon for one of his 2 touchdown receptions. Now we see Favre back down the middle for Shemur. It's intercepted. Now we see Ty Detmer and Shemur, touchdown catch. This goes for 2 points. They make it, but then Broadway Vase, a 39-yard field goal to win the football game, 27-24 for the Vikings, who needed this win desperately, JB.
Green Bay with 6 turnovers. It is now still tight in the NFC Central. Hey, this guy, boy, tough time for him.
One of the good guys in the NFL, Wayne Fonte, but boy, this is putting him on the hot seat right here, hoping to go back to 4-5. This ball picked off by Anton Montgomery, 72 yards. He returns the interception for a touchdown, and Atlanta and Jeff George and Eric Metcalf and June Jones, 34-22 over the Lions.
Now that you've got nice and warmed up, I guess we can come back with some more scores and highlights right after this.
Whatever you say, boss.
I think that's exactly what we'll do. All right. And welcome back to the Dockers Halftime, along with my partner Terry Bradshaw. I'm James Brown. Let's bring you up to date on scores around the league. Yes, the Saints beat the Rams 19-10.
Well, they had to come from behind. You see Isaac Bruce down the right sideline, past the safety, through the corner, 55-yard touchdown reception. The Saints had only given up one play over 25 yards, but they come back. Ray Zellers in. Touchdown. Saints going to win this game 19-10. And boy, I tell you what, 31 sacks now total by the Saints. They lead the NFL.
All right, Steve Bono had his way against Washington today.
He had his way. Look at this. Willie Davis inside the right corner before the safety, past the linebacker. Touchdown, 19-yard reception. Kansas City rolls 24-3. Now go to 8-1.
Jeff Hostetler was back at the helm for the Oakland Raiders today.
The Hoss was back. Leadership played a key role. Looking right, fires left. 34-yard TD reception by Tim Brown as the Raiders had to pull off a little shocker of their own, 20-17. The Bengals came back in the second half, JB.
And as you can see, Harvey Williams provided big help on the ground, 134 yards. Hey, where was Art Modell today?
He was home, taking a nap. 35 years. First time in 35 years he did not show up for a game. Probably a good thing as we watch Chandler hook up with Haywood Jeffries. 23-yard TD reception. Get this, the Oilers. Memphis Oilers take on the Baltimore Browns and upset them 37-10.
Chandler, 1 rushing touchdown, 2 passing in that victory. And Bill Parcells, like being back home.
Well, they need a victory, the Patriots, and they get it today. Rookie Curtis Martin runs it right in from 9 yards out. His second touchdown rushing of the game as New England beats the Jets, who don't have a quarterback, 20-7.
And, of course, at home, I'm talking about back in the Meadowlands as he talked about that victory. I love it when you get excited like that. We've got
always excited.
More halftime after this.
The Giants down 21-3 after 1 quarter, lead at the half 22-21. And Tim Green, this Giants attack, which features Rodney Hampton all season long, has had a tough time with the big play. Talking about plays 20 yards and over, today it's really been a big play day.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the criticism of the Giants offense. They haven't had those big plays near the bottom, only 18 coming into this game today. Last week, however, Sherrard showing signs of being able to make the big play with this 57-yard touchdown catch down the seam against the Redskins, and then he continued that today.
Today, Mike Sherrard early had problems. This is the Giants' first game in a dome, and it showed. Sherrard having a tough time on a jump ball in the corner of the end zone, picking it up. But talking about picking it up, Sherrard did that.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he connects on 2 long bombs from Dave Brown. Watch the footwork on this one, gets the touchdown, and then the second one sets up the touchdown. Again, leaping, pulling it down. Watch the footwork. 1 left leg and then crossover, still getting that right foot in bounds. Mike Sherrard is having a breakout day.
Sherrard in the first half, 112 yards, including the touchdown. And the Giants came roaring back, and Sherrard was a big part of it with the big play. He came into today with only 3. He has all 3 of their big plays today. He's up to 6. Callaway leading the team with 8. And this offense starting to open it up. It's not just Rodney Hampton, then a third down pass.
Well, they were forced to open it up because they were down 21-3 after 2 big touchdown passes by Rick Meyer for Seattle and the punt return by Joey Galloway for a touchdown. So that really forced the Giants to go to the air and to depend on Dave Brown and Mike Sherrard, and those 2 guys have come through.
I think a question a lot of people up here in Seattle will be asking at the end of the day, no matter what the score, why the Seahawks elected to throw the ball at the end of the half. Meyer throws the interception. The Giants move it down and get the touchdown.
Yeah, I think Dennis Erickson really tempted fate by not just playing it safe, running the ball, and going into halftime with a 5-point lead.
Tempted fate and lost. Corey Harris on the return to start the second half across the 20, and we'll give you a look at the first half numbers. And the Giants really picking it up in the second quarter and overall dominating with total yards.
Yeah, and I think the Giants defense has been able to come back and play really well because the offense has really controlled the ball, allowed them to get a nice rest. And then here, the 1 turnover, remember, again, that enabled the Giants to close the gap to go ahead. So Seattle only having 1, but it was a costly one.
What we thought might happen, Lamar Smith starts the second half at tailback behind Steve Smith and gets the first handoff. Bounces it outside, and Lamar Smith has a Seattle first down. We mentioned it earlier, Tim. We had a chance to see Lamar Smith in the preseason, and make no mistake, this guy can run the football.
Lamar Smith has more quickness and ability to get to the outside, even more than Chris Warren. Chris Warren is a guy who makes a lot of his yards up the middle, slanting and slashing, but you're going to see Lamar Smith, if the hole's not there, if it's filled at all, he'll break it and loop around to the outside.
Lamar Smith had a 68-yarder a week ago. He's over 10 yards per carry. He got 10.5 on his first and now gets about 8, maybe 9.
You see, the Giants defensively have got to retrain their thinking on the run game. They're thinking Warren, and Warren means get to the ball, fill, pursue quickly. You see it, the movement to pursue, but that gives Lamar Smith the cutback. He'll be cutting it back all day. The Giants linebackers are going to have to slow down.
You got 8, 2nd down and 2. Smith again. Finds a first down and gets to midfield. And if the folks here in Seattle didn't know anything about Lamar Smith before the day, I think after the day they'll realize they have a pretty good third-string tailback.
Well, he had a big run last week, but the only time you're going to see a guy like that is you see Chris Warren getting his ankle taped up. That's his bad ankle, the one that he had sprained earlier this week, had it drained. The only way a guy like Smith is going to get a chance is if Warren is hurt.
First down right at midfield for the Seahawks, down by 1. Wide open is Blades, makes the catch and out of bounds inside the 25. Vency Glenn forced him out of bounds. Thomas Randolph beaten on the play.
Randolph knows on that. That's the Giants' standard coverage. It's covered too deep. He knows he's got a safety over the top, but he relies on the safety a little bit too much. Here's Randolph. Here's the safety, and watch him here. He allows his guy to get into that zone behind him, and he doesn't give Vency Glenn enough help.
They haven't figured out Brian Blades all day. 6 catches, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns. First down, Lamar Smith. Inside the 20, hit around the line of scrimmage, and he fell forward for 4 yards. 2nd down and 6 coming up.
The Giants defense on this series, Joe, really looks like they did in the first quarter. It's like they're slow to start. They're like a cold engine on a car in the morning. They got to get that thing revved up, cranked up, and get it going back to the intensity level of the second quarter.
2nd down and 6. This is the worst defense inside the red zone in the NFL, the Giants defense. Galloway made the catch. Juggling act, he makes the catch, and he got a first down at about the 12-yard line. Willie Beeman beaten on the play.
Yeah, Willie Beeman gives Galloway much too much space. Meyer gets the protection that he likes to have, and that, you can't figure to close a kind of gap like that. Nice footwork by Galloway.
Everybody talk about J.J. Stokes. Everybody talked about Michael Westbrook coming out this year in the draft. Joey Galloway may be the best of all of them.
He's the fastest.
First down from the 12, Lamar Smith. To the 7. Ray Agnew there to throw him backward.
Well, Dennis Erickson on this drive really mixing up his play calling nicely. Running with Lamar Smith, Smith doing a nice job, the offensive line providing the holes, and then mixing in the pass with Meyer. Now, all of a sudden, Meyer looks back to his form that he had in the first half.
Already a 7-play drive. Lamar Smith has been a big part of it. 2nd down and 6. Seahawks can get a first down without getting the touchdown. Smith gets to the 5, and that is it. Stacy Dillard was there for New York, and he had help from the middle linebacker, Michael Brooks.
And Stacy Dillard on that play did what the Giants are going to have to do against this Lamar Smith, and that is hang back and cover that hole in the cutback.
Now 3rd and 4 coming up. Steve Smith and Lamar Smith in the backfield for the Seahawks. That ball was tipped and incomplete. And 4th down coming up. Field goal unit will come into the game for Seattle, but not a bad first drive for Meyer. to get his feet underneath him and get the confidence back.
You're right. This should reestablish his confidence. We'll look for the tip here. It's Keith Hamilton, 75. So Hamilton, although he doesn't get the sack on this play, we've seen him affect Rick Meyer's passing game more than any other defensive lineman for the Giants.
4.5-minute drive here at the start of the second half, and on 4th and 4, Todd Peterson will try a 23-yarder. Has not missed from this range all year. And the Seahawks regain the lead. Down by 1 at the half, now up by 2, and a good first possession for the Seahawks offense, and more importantly for Seattle, Rick Meyer. Seahawks back out in front. They lead by a couple.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Drivers wanted. By U.S. Air, the airline with nearly 5,000 flights a day. By McDonald's, the official restaurant of the National Football League. And by the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be.
Guy could have dressed up to be on network television. Seahawks, a 10-play drive covering 70 yards in 4.5 minutes. Peterson good from 23, and the Seahawks back out in front. And now Peterson to Herschel Walker from the end zone. Across the 15-yard line and forced out of bounds by Max Strong at the 17. So the Giants get it for the first time in the second half. They look up at the scoreboard, and they're down by 2. Fox Sports happy to be bringing you cross-country coverage of the Giants at Seattle. Al Klimas on camera 5 at the controls.
Well, see, the thing he's got to do, he's got to keep moving, because if he doesn't, he takes up the viewing lane of those people in the front rows, and they want Klimas to just keep moving up and down, which is why he gets motion sickness.
Along the way is Rodney Hampton. Got about 10, maybe 10.5, but a penalty flag on the first play from scrimmage for the Giants here in the second half. And this looks like it will cost New York.
Holding by the offense, number 87. Half the distance to the goal, repeat first down.
It's Howard Cross, the tight end. Now you have to remember, the Giants were slowed down in the beginning of the first half with a penalty on the first series. An offensive line penalty was the chop block. Now it's the holding penalty, which is going to, again, force them into a passing situation.
That's good news, though, for Dave Brown and Giants fans. He was 16 out of 25 in the first half for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns. No turnovers. First down and 19. Close to the 15-yard line, brought down a little short, and 2nd and long facing the Giants.
Well, from the first 2 plays, we can see that Dan Reeves wants to come out here and look at this game. It's a 2-point game, almost looking at it like starting from scratch, starting from the beginning, going back to his basic game plan, which is to control the ball and to run it with Rodney Hampton.
2nd down and 14 after Hampton picked up 5. Picks up a first down across the 30. Bad knee and all, brace and all. Got out of trouble. Right now, a 49er update on a McDonald's game break. Back to JV and Hollywood.
Hey, Joe, thanks to this Derek Lavelle touchdown run, the defending champion San Francisco 49ers avert their first shutout in 281 games. Still trail Carolina 13-7. Back to Joe and Tim.
Dave Brown, number 17, got 17 on that last scramble and picked up a first down at the 31. Incomplete, out of bounds. Mike Sherrard, the intended receiver, and Carlton Gray was right there for Seattle. As Brown throws incomplete.
One of the things that makes Rodney Hampton not only a great runner but a great player, watch him here. We talked to him yesterday. He said his priorities in the game are, first of all, to protect his quarterback. And there he is doing it there, blocking Winston Moss, protecting Dave Brown. His second priority is to not turn the ball over, and his third priority is to gain yardage. That just shows a tremendous dedication to winning.
Learned that from Bill Parcells when he came to the Giants from Georgia 6 seasons ago. Herschel Walker hit the hole hard and got to the 34, then forced backward. Winston Moss was there along with Robert Blackman. He wrapped up.
One thing the Giants have got to stop doing is trying to run Herschel Walker up the middle. Herschel Walker is not a guy you want to run up the middle of the formation. Hampton is, Wheatley maybe, but if you put the ball in Walker's hands, you want him to break it to the outside.
He got only 3, and a 3rd and 7 coming up. 6 defensive backs into the game for the Seahawks on 3rd and 7. Another roll out to the right. Incomplete. Marshall, the intended receiver. Corey Harris with a coverage. Looked like Brown had Marshall, but overthrew him. And time for the Giants to punt.
So on both sides of the ball, we see the Giants coming out from halftime a little sloppy, a little off. Defense allowing Seattle offense to go down and pick up 3, and then Dave Brown being a little off, not completing that pass.
Mike Horan has had a good day, averaging over 50 yards per punt. And back for his 3rd of the afternoon. This is a poor punt. Galloway will get away. And it will be down inside the 35-yard line. After a 33-yard punt, Tito Wooten there for the Giants. So the Seahawks get it back. They've already scored 3 in this half, and they lead by 2. Next week, it's exciting NFL doubleheader action when the Falcons take on the Bills, followed by the game everybody's waiting for this season, San Francisco and Dallas, the most anticipated matchup of the year. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. San Francisco having a difficult time with Carolina today, and we always talk about the NFC Central being tight. The NFC West is getting awful tight with the Falcons out in front at the moment. Little reverse to Galloway. Galloway across the 40, short of a first down, but brought down by Felipe Sparks. Nice gain on first down. You can see the Seahawks, Tim, taking a little pressure off Rick Meyer here at the start of the second half. They're not asking him to do everything.
Now, one thing about that last play, you're right. Marcus Buckley did a nice job of forcing Galloway to slow down. Buckley was out there getting blocked, and even though the Seahawks picked up 8, when Galloway gets the ball in his hands on a reverse, you do well just to hold it down below a first down.
Galloway got 8. Second down and 2. Lamar Smith brought down right at the first down marker. It will depend on the spot. Looked to be a little short, but we'll wait.
You know, always when you see teams running the ball, it's a physical game. There's a lot going on in the trenches. And watch Keith Hamilton here. He gets a forearm shot to the head. He gets turned around and wham, smacked right in the back. I mean, you cannot play in the trenches in the NFL and not have bruises all over your body come Monday morning. Get them in the front, get them in the back.
They brought down Lamar Smith as we give you more on Keith Hamilton right at the first down marker, and they're measuring. And he's a little short. So 3rd and inches coming up for the Seahawks. For the first time, this Giants defensive line is starting to play together, and they seem to have something going not only up front but in the secondary. This is a pretty good, albeit a no-name defense for the Giants.
Yeah, well, the strength of this defense really is the secondary first, and then you've got the defensive line, and then the linebackers are a little light. Michael Brooks in the middle is a little light for a middle linebacker in this system. They need a guy in there who's about a 250-pound bruiser to really help shut down that run game. Michael Brooks will tell you he's playing out of position. He's more of an outside linebacker.
Galloway is out of the game. Rob Thomas is into the game. And with everybody out on the line, the handoff to the fullback, Steve Smith, and he got a first down. So a fresh set of downs for the Seahawks across their own 45. He got 3 and a first down for Seattle. Credit Dennis Erickson. This team could have folded after that bad end of the first half.
Yeah, and whenever you get a first down in short yardage, you see Jim Sweeney, 53. He's way out in front of the pile. If your center gets that kind of a surge, you're going to pick up the first down.
They did, and now Meyer hands to Lamar Smith. Penalty flag on the play, and Smith got about one. Mike Kroll was there defending for the Giants with help. And penalty flags on the play. This will be an offside against the Giants. So a 1st and 5 coming up for Seattle.
Well, defensive penalties will destruct the defense more than anything else. They'll continue drives and give up points.
Offside for the defense, 93. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's Big Ray Agnew, unrestricted free agent, picked up from New England. 6th-year player out of NC State. And now 1st and 5 for Seattle, and 5 defensive backs come into the game for the Giants. Willie Beeman, the extra defensive back, in there for New York. Meyer changing it up on the line. And handing to Lamar Smith. Good blocking, and he got a first down. Lamar Smith here in the second half. We haven't seen anything of Chris Warren. He's got the baseball cap on, and this is, it would seem, Lamar Smith's second half. He has been retaped. He can return. That's the official word. So far, they haven't needed him.
Right, and once the cap goes on, the baseball cap, then you don't expect the guy to come back, because if he's going to come back, you know, he'll have that helmet tucked right up underneath his arm, ready to go.
Meanwhile, for Lamar Smith, 8 carries, 41 yards. He has helped Seattle regain the lead. They lead 24-22, and they're on the move again. Over the middle, incomplete. Penalty flag as Brian Blades was interfered with. Willie Beeman was up his back.
Well, Brian Blades has hurt this Giants defense up the seam all day. That's one way to stop it. You just grab hold of him, because that's the only way they've been able to stop it.
So the hold instead of the pass interference, but an automatic first down.
Holding by the defense, number 21. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Yeah, here's Blades right here in the slot. Beeman's on him, just reaches out, and that's an obvious hold. I mean, he had a hold of his arm, spun him right around. That's one you're rarely going to get away with.
5th New York penalty of the day. And a first down for the Giants, or I should say the Seahawks, inside the Giants 40.
I'm sure on that last play, Beeman saw Blades breaking towards the center, and he thought back to those 2 first-half touchdowns.
From the New York 39, this is Lamar Smith. Good move, and down to the 36. He got 3, and a 2nd and 7 coming up. Michael Brooks, the middle linebacker, made the stop.
Lamar Smith gets a little confused. He starts one way and then goes the other. He sees that there's no hole. Hamilton gets in his way. He breaks back, and then you see Michael Brooks doing a nice job of what I said before, hanging back.
Unofficially, only the 2nd tackle of the day for Michael Brooks, the middle linebacker. Myers sacked. And a 3rd and long coming as Robert Harris gets his 4th of the year.
That's the 2nd sack today for this Giants defensive line. And they've got these 2 sacks really all on their own, because the Giants are not a big blitzing team. If they're going to rely on a pass rush, they'll rely on the front 4 guys. You're going to see Harris at the top of the screen just knocks Howard Ballard's arm off, comes right underneath to make the play.
Coleman Rudolph comes in. He is at a right tackle spot for the Giants. Lamar Smith, the only setback behind Myers. 3rd and 9. The pass complete to Callaway. And he got a Seattle first down. Willie Beeman again beaten on the play. And how can Joey Galloway be that wide open on 3rd and 9?
We saw this exact same play on the first series with Galloway, with Beeman giving him too much of a cushion on the sideline. And that's what happens when you've got a pattern that works and you've got this little outcut here that works. You've got to, as a defensive back, choke down on it, tighten down, and close that gap right there. It's just too much cushion for a guy like Joey Galloway.
3:10 and counting left here in the third quarter. Seattle leading. And on first down, they hand it again to Lamar Smith. He's inside the 20 and near another first down. He got 9. Bensie Glenn had to bring him down. Lamar Smith, a second-year player from Houston, third-round pick last year, and he already has more than 50 yards here in the second half alone.
The Giants' defense has come out in the second half, and they're flat. They're flat, and Seattle's offensive line is absolutely taking advantage of them. Watch 73 Roberts picks up 2 blocks and leads the way for Lamar Smith.
Ray Roberts, a first-round pick in '92. Second down and 1, and the play clock running out on the Seahawks. Meyer buys time, throws, end zone, nearly picked off, and well covered by the Giants secondary. Thomas Randolph there for the coverage, and he's down. 2 players are down for the Giants. Not only Thomas Randolph, but Bensie Glenn as well.
The Giants have already lost. They lost Maurice Douglas last week to an injury, so they're thin out there already.
Checking the right knee of Thomas Randolph, and we'll give you another look.
Meyer just sprints out. He sees his receiver in the back of the end zone, but the Giants defenders are there, and then Bensie Glenn doing what you'd expect him to do. He lays out his body and goes for that big play. When you lay your body out and you give everything up, you just can't get your hands underneath you quick enough, and then you take the chance of getting hurt. But that's what the great ones do. They give themselves up to make the big play.
A break as they look at both defensive backs who are down. Randolph is up, and now the only one on his back is Bensie Glenn. Concerned onlookers watching for the Giants. Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator for the Giants, very concerned, as he should be. 2 players were down on the play, the one still on his back, and everybody looking at Bensie Glenn, which gives you a pit in your stomach, wondering what the problem is. Thomas Randolph up and appears to be all right, but all concern right now on Bensie Glenn. Bensie Glenn has been such a big addition to this Giant secondary. We'll give you another look. He formerly with Minnesota.
Yeah, he lays himself out and actually tips that ball there, and by opening his body up and coming full down, full force on the turf, that's how he gets hurt.
Like he ran into Thomas Randolph and may have jarred his right shoulder a bit.
You know, actually it looked like Randolph's knee hit Bensie Glenn right in the head. And you know, there it is right there. That's exactly what happened. Hit him right in the head. Now you don't know, is it a head injury, is it a neck injury? I mean, it's scary, whatever it is.
Bringing the stretcher out, you could see Bensie Glenn able to move, but still down on his back and taking every precaution. The Giants training staff, they're not the only one around him. The Seahawks training staff is out there as well, paying attention to Bensie Glenn.
And Dan Reeves out there himself. And whenever you see a head coach out on the field, when a guy's injured, you know he's a player's coach. Because not every head coach goes out there onto the field in the middle of a game. Dan Reeves is that kind of guy. The scariest thing as a football player in the NFL is seeing one of your teammates down and go onto one of those boards with those orange pads on either side of his head. It's the scariest thing because it makes everybody stop and think, you know, that could happen to me.
And not only for your own teammates, this is when everything comes to a halt, and you see both teams, just as NFL players or people, concerned about who's down on their back. It doesn't matter what uniform they're wearing.
No, you're right. I mean, the battle lines disappear, and all of a sudden everybody out there is a football player, and it's one big fraternity, and everybody's concerned about one of their guys, one of their members, because it is the single biggest nightmare for a football player. A neck injury that you know has the possibility of leaving you permanently damaged. And of course, we're not saying that's the case here, but whenever a guy goes out on the board, that's what's in everybody's mind.
We obviously, when we are given word, we'll pass it along immediately. We'll give you a look one more time at the play. Bensie Glenn, the one down, he's wearing number 25. You're right about Randolph's knee catching him up around the neck, the head, the right shoulder area.
Right there, right on his head. See it? Snaps his head right back, and that's what hurt Randolph too. Randolph hurt his knee because he hit it on Vincey Glenn's helmet.
His Kingdom deadly quiet.
And then Vincey Glenn came down after taking the shot from Randolph, came down on his helmet on the turf as well. So you don't know which one did it, the initial shock from the knee or the shock from the turf.
Not in no way do I mean to trivialize what's happening here, but it's a 3rd and 1 for the Seahawks when we resume play, and the ball resting at the Giants' 19-yard line with the Giants down by 2. But right now, nobody's worrying about the score. Nobody's worrying about down and distance. Everybody's worrying about Vincey Glenn. Steve Smith of the Seahawks in there checking on Vincey, and Thomas Randolph and his knee looked like it did the damage to Vincey Glenn, and that is sickening, sickening sight.
And they've got his head packed in those orange styrofoam things and completely immobilized, completely strapped down. We should mention that we did see, we're not predicting anything or trying to say exactly what happened or what his condition is, but we did see Vincey Glenn using his hands and flexing his fingers when the medical staff was looking at him earlier.
So as I said, the second that we get word on the health of Vincey Glenn, we will pass it along. Meanwhile, this Giants defense has to try to regroup and stop the Seahawks on 3rd and 1 with New York already trailing by 2. This is the 10th play of the drive for Seattle, coming up on 5.5 minutes off the clock. 6 rushes, 3 passes on this drive so far, and this is Lamar Smith. He leaps and it depends on the spot. Michael Brooks there in the middle for the Giants, and it just depends on the spot as to whether Lamar Smith got the first down or not.
If the Giants stop him, it's a heck of a play, because after that long break, you go cold and you go flat, and you're thinking about your teammate who just got carried off.
Nearly 600 total yards between him. The Giants 3 and 5, the Seahawks 2 and 6. Would not have expected that coming in, and they will have to measure to see if Lamar Smith picked up the first down or not.
Well, we talked about Michael Brooks earlier not being the biggest of linebackers. It's short on this play, and it's short because of Michael Brooks' play. Watch him here using his lateral mobility to come off of the block, get up underneath Smith, and make that stop, and then he gets a whole bunch of Giants there to help him.
Well, the Seahawks are going to go for it. The crowd likes it, and I bet this Giants defense likes it. 4th and a little less than a yard from the 19-yard line. This would be a 37-yard field goal try, but the Seahawks up by 2 are going to go for it on 4th down. Seattle 5 out of 7 on 4th down this season. 6 out of 8. Steve Smith a first down inside the 15. That's not a bad percentage on 4th down. 6 out of 8 for the Seahawks this year.
No, that's a great percentage, and you can believe that that's what was going through Dennis Erickson's mind.
You want to hear something even worse, Tim? Now this Giants defense defending against a 4th down. The opponents are now 9 out of 11. So only 2 times has the Giants defense stopped the opponents on 4th downs this season. And on first down, the handoff to Lamar Smith. He lost the football. The Giants say they have it. No official word. They've got it. The Giants come away with it. Thomas Randolph comes off the field with a football. That's the 2nd Seattle turnover today. They are now minus 15 for the season, and turnovers will kill you.
And that's the danger of having a rookie giving, or a young guy giving him the ball. Inexperienced. Nice steal by the Giants defense.
They take over down by 2.
Keith Hamilton, the Giants defensive tackle, having a big day today. 2 tackles, 1 sack, and now this forced fumble down in the red zone. Watch it right there. He gets his hand in, knocks that ball out, and then Thomas Randolph comes up with it.
Good news comes in bunches. Vincey Glenn out with a stinger in his neck, nothing more serious. He's expected to be okay. Here's bad news to break up that bunch of good news as Brown is sacked by Winston Moss.
That's a smart defensive call by the coordinator for the Seahawks, Greg McMacken, because he knows that when you have a change of momentum, you have a turnover, you want to respond. There's McMacken right there. You want to respond with a very aggressive call, and that was an aggressive blitz by McMacken.
The second sack for the Seahawks today, a loss of 2 and a 2nd down and 12 coming up. And now walking off the field is Antonio Edwards. He was banged up on that last play.
No, one thing, Joe, you talked about a stinger and only a stinger. I've got to tell you that as a player, I've had stingers, and when you get them, you think that you might have just be on death's door because they are incredibly painful. Your body goes numb. Your mind gets a bolt of electricity in it and pain, and it's very, very frightening.
It's frightening, but when you consider the alternative, very, very good news.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great news.
Walker and Charles Way in the backfield on 2nd down and 12 for the Giants. Brown is chased, got rid of it, and that'll be grounding. All over him, Dean Wells. Dean Wells doesn't have a sack this season, but this is great work.
Well, Greg McMacken, the coordinator, sends the heat. Wells comes right up the middle, untouched, and Dave Brown, trying to get rid of it, gets the penalty.
Spot of the foul, loss of down.
Threw that ball left-handed.
Third down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heck of an effort for a guy who's a righty to throw it with his left, but it's not good enough. Wells is on him too quick. The blitz, the Seattle blitz, is too effective.
And now the ball is spotted back at the Giants 2, and it's the defense of the Seahawks. There's a coordinator, Greg McMacken, coming up big. A loss of down on the play as well, and a 3rd and 22. And for the first time really today, this Kingdome crowd gets into it. Brown dumps it. Incomplete to Callaway, and just fortunate to get rid of it. Big pressure again. Antonio Edwards was there, and Brown was running for his life.
Those Seattle defensive linemen were hungry. Nothing makes you hungrier and smell blood more than a quarterback in his own end zone, linking Cortez Kennedy blowing right up through Greg Bishop, and then Antonio Edwards putting Brown on the ground, not giving him any time at all to find a receiver.
And now Mike Horan back to punt, and he will be standing in the very back of the Giants end zone. Watch out for Joey Galloway. He's back deep for Seattle. Under half a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. Very good punt. Very good punt by Horan. Galloway to the opposite side of the field into Giants territory, and a great return by Joey Galloway. He ran more across the field than he did down the field, but that was a terrific effort by the rookie.
And a terrific effort by Willie Beeman to keep Galloway from getting the corner, getting the edge, and another touchdown.
Good punt by Horan, a 54-yard punt, 8-yard return. Bart, Martin, and Bundy. Their very personalities define Fox, and now they're all together on one great night of television for outrageous comedy. Tune in tonight for brand new episodes of The Simpsons, Martin, and Married with Children, starting at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on Fox. Seahawks line up with the football at the Giants 48.
That was a heck of a response by that Seahawks defense.
Lamar Smith, who just fumbled, picked up 2.5 yards and brought down around the 47-yard line. That will be the end of the 3rd quarter. Very good game here at the Kingdome in Seattle with a score. The Seahawks 24, the Giants 22. 4th quarter coming up.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Welcome back to the Kingdome here in Seattle. Right in the heart of Pioneer Square. Joe Buck and Tim Green with you. Start of the 4th quarter. The only scoring in this 2nd half. A 23-yard field goal by Todd Peterson. That's the difference in this game, with Seattle leading 24-22. The Seahawks have it Second down inside Giant territory. That's the tight end Crumpler. Lester inside the 40 and a first down for the Seahawks. Lester Crumpler, that's his first catch of the day.
Well, one thing for certain that you cannot do when you've got a guy the size of Crumpler out there in the flat catching the ball, you cannot just make a diving tackle. You cannot just throw yourself at his ankles. You've got to wrap up. He's too big.
Chris Warren is out with a strained knee, and he re-injured his left ankle. Broussard left early in the game with a hamstring problem he got on a kick return. And so they're only left with Lamar Smith and a bunch of fullbacks. And a tight end named Lester Crumpler. That's him. Back off the line and now in motion. The play clock expired. And that will cost Seattle 5 yards.
Well, that's one thing that you expect. It's really a rookie mistake.
First down.
And although Rick Meyer is in his third year, this is a totally new offense for him. And it's a complex offense. So when you get up to the line of scrimmage in a complex offense, you've got so many reads and so many adjustments to make that sometimes that play clock is going to run on.
However, Dennis Erickson will tell you Meyer's problems haven't been before the snap. They've been after the snap with the decisions he's been making. He's thrown 15 interceptions this season. One here today. Lamar Smith into open field, inside the 30, inside the 25, with the Seattle first down.
Well, one thing, Willie Beeman allowed that play to go. He's coming from the outside 21 on the blitz, and when you come on the blitz, you've got to stay under control because you've got to be able to adjust to the handoff on the inside. If you don't, Smith runs for the first down.
First and 15, and he got 16, so a first down, and the ball at the New York 23. By Harris, back across the field and incomplete. Great coverage by Jesse Campbell. He came down to the football but out of bounds, and 2nd and 10 coming up.
It's only Jesse Campbell's excellent coverage that stopped that from being a touchdown because Meyer did a nice job of breaking the contain, getting to the sideline, and he really throws this ball nicely right where it's got to be, but Campbell is too close.
So Meyer buying time and making a good throw, but 2nd down and 10, and Meyer 9 incompletions, over 200 yards, 1 key interception toward the end of the first half, with 2 touchdown throws, both to Brian Blade. 2nd and 10. Meyer steps up and guns it low. Galloway, the intended receiver. It's nice to see Meyer hang in and step up, but he made a bad throw.
Yeah, well, he's hung in and he stepped up because his offensive line really gave him a nice throwing lane. They cleared the Giants defensive lineman right out of the middle and made it very safe for him to step into the pocket. Now he's got to make the throw.
Opening minutes of the 4th quarter. Seattle leading by 2, and a 3rd and 10 facing the Seahawks. Coleman Rudolph in at a defensive tackle spot for the Giants. Corner of the end zone, Blades nearly picked off, and great coverage by Tito Wooten, who's playing for the injured Vincie Glenn. And the Seahawks will have to try a field goal.
That's a ball there, again, that really could be intercepted by Wooten. Wooten does a nice job to leap up. He gets his hands on it, and you know that's a ball that he could catch. I'm not saying that he should. It's a difficult catch, and he's not a receiver. His job is to defend it, but boy, and that's a big interception if he comes down with it.
Todd Peterson will try a 41-yarder to add to the Seattle lead. This would make it a 5-point game. Perfect. Peterson is 2 for 2 this half. He has scored all the points in the second half here at the Kingdome. Now the Giants need a touchdown to take the lead. They trail Seattle by 5.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the all-new Ford Taurus, a look you've never seen from a name you know well. By Digital Personal Computers. By Sony Maximum Television. Hear and see everything you pay for. And by the NASDAQ stock market, the stock market for the next 100 years.
Nice day outside the Kingdome. Inside the Kingdome, very good game. A 5-point game in the lead for Seattle. And the Giants offense, a repeat performance of what they did last week in Washington. They have done nothing offensively in this second half. They get it back as Herschel Walker takes the kick. Herschel Walker across the 40. And the kicker, Peterson, forces him out of bounds at the Seahawk 48. A 50-yard return by Herschel Walker.
And that run back could not have come at a better time for the New York Giants. When they've struggled back in their own territory with their backs to the wall, watch the wedge. This is a wedge at work. Herschel Walker follows it up. The wedge blasts a couple guys out of the way, seals it off. Nice blocking all the way around by the Giants return team. And then Walker just uses his speed.
Good work by the kicker, Todd Peterson, to get in front and at least force him out of bounds, but a 50-yard return. Wheatley and Walker in the backfield behind Dave Brown. Wheatley close to the 40. Inside the 41-yard line and a pickup of about 8. Second down and 2 coming up. Well, this for the Giants is, well, it's a cliche, but it's a must-win game. When you look at what's coming into today, their schedule's very tough right around the corner.
Yeah, it really is. And they've got some big teams with some great records down the line. Chicago, Oakland, and Dallas.
Here's Wheatley fighting for a first down, and he got it. Tyrone Wheatley with 2 carries. Joe Nash there to put the stop to him, but Wheatley picks up a Giant first down. Dave Brown in this half is 0 for 4. In the first half was 16 out of 25 for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns. But this is what happened last week in Washington.
Yeah, but Dave Brown still has the time to show Dan Reeves that he can put 2 halves together. He can still do it in this fourth quarter.
On first down, Brown is chased by Moss, gets rid of it and nearly completed it. Howard Cross, the intended receiver. Winston Moss in the face of Dave Brown.
You have to admire Dave Brown's ability to scramble and the way we've seen him run today with that brace on his leg. He's got the brace. It does not allow him to extend fully. And when you can't extend your knee fully, you cannot stride in your normal stride when you run. But he's really looked sharp.
Corey Harris just limped off, the cornerback for the Seahawks. Second down and 10. Ball batted down with Cortez Kennedy in the face of Brown. 3rd and 10 coming up.
Seattle's defensive line this half has really done a nice job of picking up the intensity of their pass rush, and Cortez Kennedy is at the center of it all, as you would expect.
Dave Brown in this second half now 0 for 6. And a 3rd and 10 facing the Giants. Last week in Washington, only 57 yards, total yards in the second half against the Redskins. This week, much of the same. Corey Harris back into the game for Seattle on 3rd and 10. Penalty flag on the play. The ball is caught by Callaway inside the 20. Carlton Gray beaten on the play. Penalty flag is on the field, but I believe, and it is, against Seattle, so the play will stand. First down, New York. And that's the first completion of this second half for Dave Brown. 1 out of 7.
Offsides from the defense, number 70. The penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
21-yard throw to Callaway and a first down inside the Seattle 17.
And Callaway made a nice catch on that play, too. He stopped his body midair, changed, twisted his torso around to pull that ball in.
Tyrone Wheatley now in the backfield behind Dave Brown. Wheatley cuts back across the middle, and he's down inside the 10. Short of a first down, but a second and short coming up as Eugene Robinson made the stop.
And Wheatley just showed another element to his game as a running back in this league. Yes, he's fast. He hits the hole quickly. But watch the hit he puts on Eugene Robinson to just get a little extra yards of this. Watch him dip it, blast Robinson backwards, pick up 3 extra yards. Wheatley learned that from this guy, Hampton. That's his trademark, lowering the shoulder and getting 3 more.
He got 8, 2nd down and 2. Hampton, not much. Cortez Kennedy there from the backside to bring him down. In the middle of it, Joe Nash.
Now, Hampton is a big guy and a big runner. And there aren't many defensive linemen that have the strength and the low center of gravity to stop him and pull him backwards. Cortez Kennedy is one of those guys. Look, he gets his hands on him. Sinclair's there, but Kennedy really uses that strength he's got to stop Rodney Hampton's momentum.
Now 3rd down and 1 as Scott Gregg, a tackle, is into the game as an eligible receiver. He's on the right side of the formation. Hampton down to the 5 and a 1st down for New York. Dean Wells brought him down, but when you have 3rd and 1 and you have a Hampton in your backfield, you have to like your chances.
And that was a smart play by Hampton. It was smart because he didn't just put his head down and barrel. He sees a hole here. And when he sees a hole, he's going to run for it all. He hurdles one guy, and then Wells brings him down. But Wells took a shot from Hampton. He lost his head. Had to lose his breath on that play.
Out in front of Rodney Hampton, a very good blocking fullback, Charles Way. 1st and goal from the 5. Giants can take the lead with a touchdown. Hampton to the goal line, not in. Terry Wooden there for the stop, but a 2nd and goal from inside the 1 coming up for New York.
That's the beauty of having a solid run game. When you get into the red zone, you can use it. Greg Bishop leading up through the hole, getting a block on one of the defensive backs, and then Hampton just doing what he does best, finding a hole, keeping the legs moving, and getting the hard yards.
Now lining up on the left side of the formation is tackle eligible Scott Gregg. 2nd and goal. Hampton did not get in. 3rd and goal coming up. Greg McMackin, the defensive coordinator for Seattle, with the Seahawks out in front by 5, a 3rd and goal for New York. And this might be 2-down territory now for New York.
I think so. In this goal line situation, the guy who wins is the guy who gets lowest and keeps his feet moving. And then Terry Wooden, number 90, comes up over the top for a little insurance. The Giants should not run this ball right at Cortez Kennedy.
11th play of the drive. Hampton, touchdown. And New York regains the lead. For Rodney Hampton, that's his 5th rushing touchdown of the season, and New York back out in front.
And that's the beauty, once again, of having a run game, having a Rodney Hampton. He is never as valuable as he is down there in the red zone when you just want to grind it out, hang on to the ball, protect it, and come away with a touchdown.
And for the 3rd time today, the Giants will go for 2. Giants leading 28-27. And they'll try to make it a 3-point game with a successful 2-point conversion. They're 0 for 2 today. 1 for 3 on the year. Incomplete again. Corey Harris. And the Seahawks trail by 1.
The coverage was too good, and the pressure on Dave Brown was too immediate.
An 11-play drive covering 48 yards, and Hampton punches it in. But on the 2-point try, the Seahawk defense stiffens up. The Giants lead by 1.
3 things make this Giants touchdown work. The surge by the offensive line, you see it. The lead block by Charles Way, and the leap and the score by the big back, Rodney Hampton.
And Dan Reeves and the Giants back out in front by 1. Two-point conversion tries 0 for 3. Brad Delwiso kicks it away. Corey Harris will take a knee in the end zone if he can ever catch up to the football. You won't believe this update on a McDonald's game break. Back to JB in Hollywood. Knock him out, JB.
Hey, Joe, here's a desperation play by the 49ers. Their last play from their own 44. Hail Mary going to Jerry Rice. And it is no good. San Francisco becomes the first defending Super Bowl champ to lose to an expansion team, while Carolina sets a record, first expansion team to win 4 games, beating San Francisco 13-7. Let's take you back to Joe Buck and Tim Green.
Thank you, James Brown. Hard to believe, maybe, but the Carolina Panthers are on a roll.
Well, free agency has helped these expansion teams this year be better than any other expansion team in the NFL's history.
Play action on first down. Fire incomplete. Great news on Vince Glenn. The X-rays were negative. He'll be fine. Meanwhile, you talk about expansion teams. This Seattle club was an expansion team in 1976. Their first year, they were 2-12. Meanwhile, the Carolina Panthers, they've won 4 in a row. One of those 2 wins by Seattle, was in more or less an expansion bowl as they beat Tampa Bay.
And one of those guys, free agents helping Carolina, Mike Fox, the Giants' old defensive line.
Now 2nd and 10. Lamar Smith. Outside of the fumble, he's had a very good second half. He's across the 25 and a 3rd down facing Seattle.
He's had a good second half, and his offensive line has done a nice job, Joe, of opening some holes for him, providing Lamar Smith with a little bit of daylight.
He got 6 and a 3rd and 4. The Seahawks. 78 yards all in this second half, but 1 costly fumble. Jamal Duff and Coleman Rudolph in for the pass rush for the Giants. Incomplete. Blades, the intended receiver, and very good coverage by Willie Beeman. He's their nickelback, and he was right with Blades.
We've seen Willie Beeman have some problems today in the zones on closing on Galloway to the sideline. Being not mixed up, but being drawn off by receivers up the middle, not getting out to the outside of the zone quick enough. This play is all Beeman. You got to give him credit where credit's due.
3rd punt of the day for Rick Tootin. This is Arthur Marshall back deep for New York. 7:20 left to play here in Seattle. The Giants will get it back, leading by 1. Good snap. Very good punt. Very good punt. Marshall from about the 20. Good return. Arthur Marshall across the 35 and dropped at the 37. Jay Bellamy there to make the stop for Seattle after a 55-yard punt, but a 20-yard return for Marshall. This is Morris Red Badgrove. Played for the Giants from 1927 to 1935. He is the oldest living Hall of Famer. He's from Kent, Washington, born in 1902. That makes him 93 years old. Played collegiately at USC. He's all NFL 3 times and played on Giants championship teams back in 1927 and 1934. And if you watched him play, wake up. You got a good game going on. Rodney Hampton out across the 45-yard line.
I didn't know you could live that long if you played in the NFL.
He has defied the odds. He's certainly getting his money's worth today. I wonder who he's rooting for. I mean, he's from the area, but he played with the Giants.
Oh, no. Whenever you play for a team, that's like I'm a Falcon fan. You know, you got to root for your old guys, no matter how far removed, how many decades ago it was. You always root for the guys and the uniform that you wore.
Hampton.
So it's more important than salmon in Seattle.
Hampton got 6. 2nd down and 4 coming up. Now Wheaton. Men in the backfield, and it's all blue. Brought down at the 40. Name your tackler. We'll give it to Joe Nash.
I don't know what Tyrone Wheatley was doing on the end of that play, though, Joe, because he went down to the ground before anybody hit him. I mean, I know everybody was coming at him, but he just dropped down to the ground. Watch it. This mystifies me. He goes to put a move. Nash stops him, and then look, he just goes down. You cannot do that. You can't do that when this game is on the line. You gotta try, at least spin. I'm not saying he could have got it, but you gotta try.
He lost 5, 3rd and 9. Brown is sacked. Sam Adams there. Antonio Edwards. And a big hold for the Seahawk defense.
Well, we've seen Sam Adams jumping the gun today. Here he is working on Lance Smith. Just up, rips, and under. Gets on top of him. He's the guy first there, and then Antonio Edwards gets there. And when you're first there, that means you get the sack. And believe me, those guys, Antonio and Sam, will be arguing about that all day long Monday in film.
Sam Adams came into the game with only 1 sack. Last year's #1 pick, who hasn't done much of anything. That is the 3rd Seahawks sack of the day. And Mike Horan has to punt it back to Seattle. Waiting for it is Joey Galloway. Coming up on 5.5 minutes left to play. Giants leading by 1. Good punt by Horan. Galloway from inside the 20. Not much room on the sideline, but still a good return across the 30. And we have a couple of penalty flags on the play. A 49-yard punt, 14-yard return. And we'll check the foul.
And because this is a 1-point game, penalties and extra yards on returns and sacks become very important for field position, for field goal distance.
A personal foul face mask, which is a 15-yard penalty. And we'll wait and see where they spot the football. This will be very close to a first down. If it is pre-punt. With the penalty flags way back where they are, you would have to believe it is.
I think that this will be a first down.
Personal foul, face mask, by the receiving team during the kick, number 38. The penalty will be enforced 15 yards from the end of the kick. The receiving team will keep the ball first down.
Right there.
So they are just, Tim, just short of a first down. At any rate, they marked this penalty off at the end of the run back, so it was post-punt, which is very important. If it's pre-punt, then you mark it off and you see where the ball rests. It could have been a first down for the Giants. Instead, it's post-punt, and so on the return, the personal foul, and it will cost Seattle 15 yards after that very good return by Galloway. Seattle gets it back. They're down 1. Well, now it's up to the Seattle offense, down by a point. They get the ball back with 5:19 to play here in the 4th quarter in Seattle. And you can make the argument, with better judgment maybe, at the end of the first half, Seattle could very well have the lead in this game.
Well, you have to think back to that, and at that point, Seattle's up by 5 points, and they air the ball out, and Rick Meyer throws an interception that he has been so prone to do this season. 14 coming into this game, and then the interception right before half made it 15, and that enabled the Giants to drive down and score another touchdown.
By the way, just to clean something up, they've given half a sack to both Edwards and Adams on that last sack, which forced the punt. The penalty occurred after the punt, so Seattle keeps the ball. And they have it at their own 9, 1st and 10. Lamar Smith across the 10, maybe to the 12. That's about it. Michael Brooks there for the Giants. He got 2. Each team has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. At the conclusion of today's game, Tim and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game. Second down and 8 for Seattle. With their best running back and one of the best in the league, Chris Warren, only able to watch from the sideline. Bad knee, a bad ankle. Tight end, short of a first down. That's his first catch of the afternoon, and Beeman there to bring him down. And a 3rd down facing Seattle. 3rd and 3 for Dennis Erickson and the Seahawks. Lamar Smith, the only setback. 3rd and 3. Meyer has time to the sideline. Galloway. Boy, it's hard to believe he's just a rookie. He doesn't drop anything.
No, he doesn't, and he gets his body separated from Felipe Sparks by leaping up in the air. Sparks is right there, and Meyer had time to get the ball to him because Lamar Smith, 36, picks up the blitz, picks up Michael Brooks, knocks him flat out, gives Meyer time, and you see the separation? The separation is not horizontal. It's a vertical separation. Joey Galloway using that leaping ability to separate himself from Felipe Sparks.
And to get a Seattle first down from their own 25. Dump off to Lamar Smith. Into open field across the 35 and very close to another first down.
As a defensive lineman, there's two things you've got to do when you see this. First of all, you've got to recognize the screen. Secondly, when you recognize it, you've got to have the wheels and the speed to get out there to the perimeter to bring it down. Giants defensive lineman on that play, Stacy Dillard, chasing Lamar Smith from behind, didn't have the speed.
Lamar Smith got 10.5, so a first down for Seattle at their own 35. Smith again. Man in the backfield and got maybe half a yard.
Well, Michael Brooks, again, he's the guy who gets to Smith's feet, gets him into the backfield, and when things are on the line, when the game is tight, which it is right now, that's what you expect. You expect Michael Brooks out there throwing his body around and making plays.
Smith got one, second down and 9. McKnight. And he gets another Seattle first down, and the first catch of the afternoon comes at a good time for Seattle. For James McKnight, that's his 5th catch of the year.
And McKnight does the same thing Galloway does. He uses the vertical separation, comes up to catch that ball. 3 Giants defenders all around him, and then Jesse Armstead gives him a nice hit to make him pay the price for catching that ball out there.
Remember, the Seahawks needing only a field goal to win this game. Coming up on the 2-minute warning. To the sideline, incomplete. Through the hands of Joey Galloway, and that one just a little too much on it. And we'll have one more play before the 2-minute warning.
That's Meyer's first incomplete pass on this drive, but Rick Meyer is throwing these balls high. Now he's got to bring his trajectory down if he wants to take his team down and get the points they need to win, because Galloway missed that one. He caught the other one and McKnight caught one, but all the passes have been high.
Each team has all 3 of their timeouts remaining, and the 2-minute warning will be next after this play. This is the fullback, Max Strong. He got a face mask and got about 8. And it looked like a face mask will be tacked on. It will, onto the end of this play. That's the first carry of the day for Max Strong. He got 9+.
I think it's Willie Beeman, 21, who gets Max Strong by the face mask on this play here. He reaches out, just trying to stop him. Inadvertent.
Foul, face mask by the defense, number 21, 15-yard penalty.
But they're calling it a personal foul.
Well, I don't know about that call. That personal foul brings the Seahawks into field position, and we are at the 2-minute warning.
And Dan Reeves should be heated up.
We'll give you another look.
A personal foul is when you grab it and intentionally twist it. That's as inadvertent as it gets. Well, Dan Reeves is hot because a face mask penalty that should have been 5 yards was called a personal foul. That's 15. Seahawks in field goal range now. Watch Beeman, 21. He grabs the mask and lets go of it instantly. Instantly. No malice at all in that. That's an inadvertent face mask. That should only have been 5 yards.
Todd Peterson might be on his shoulders to win this game. He's 2 for 2 today. His long this year is 49 yards. That's his long in the NFL. This would be about a 47-yarder from here. First down for Seattle. Under 2 minutes to go, and they come out throwing. Boy, that's confidence, and that's a completion to Rob Thomas. And another first down.
Well, it's a heck of a play-action fake and a heck of a play-action pass by Rick Meyer. And it's a nice call by Dennis Erickson to reverse the direction of the defense. Get everybody flowing one way, and then Rollmeyer bootlegging back to find his receiver.
Interesting in that the 3 missed 2-point conversions, had they just kicked the extra point, would force the Seahawks to get into the end zone to win this game. Instead, they need only the field goal to win it. Max Strong doesn't get anything. And the Giants will spend their first of 3 timeouts.
And the reason Max Strong is in this game now and they're giving him the ball, he's an old veteran. He's a guy who's certain with the ball, fullback, he'll cover it up and he'll protect it.
28-27, the Giants out in front, 1:44 left, and 2 timeouts remaining for New York. Well, if you've only heard the legend, you've only heard half of the story. This Tuesday, Fox presents the world broadcast premiere of a Francis Ford Coppola film, Bram Stoker's Dracula, starring Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder, Anthony Hopkins, and Gary Oldman on the Fox Tuesday night movie. Ball is just inside the 16-yard line, so we're looking at roughly a 33-yard field goal try, well within the range of Todd Peterson, who this season is 9 out of 13 in the field goal department, and Dave Brown is hoping he gets one last chance.
Well, now you'll see the Seattle Seahawks run the ball, protect it, try to keep it safe, get a little more yardage to close the field goal down as much as they possibly can, but they want to force the Giants to burn their timeouts by stopping this clock.
2nd down and 9 for Seattle. Seahawks trying to win for the 3rd time this season. This is Lamar Smith brought down the backfield, and the Giants immediately will call another timeout as Michael Strahan came in and made a big play. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the Seattle Seahawks and the National Football League is prohibited. And again today, the Giants are 0 for 3 trying on the 2-point conversion, and it's kind of like a landslide. Once you miss the first, you start messing with that score. You got to keep going for it. They've missed it all 3 times. Had they kicked the extra point, right now they would be up by 4, and it would be imperative for the Seahawks to get into the end zone to win the game.
Well, they would, but it's important to note that when they made those 2-point conversion decisions, it made sense mathematically at each juncture in the game. It was smart to go for the 2 points because they were down or they were ahead by 1, so they try to make it a field goal to beat them. So, you know, you really can't second guess that, although it is a good point. Had their 2-point conversions been successful, they'd be in a lot better position.
3rd down and 11. Lamar Smith. 4th down coming up. The final timeout taken by the Giants. And the ball is just inside the 15-yard line. So we're looking at roughly a 32-yard field goal, maybe even shorter. And Peterson today is 2 for 2, and for the year 9 out of 13.
Now, if the Giants are not able to block this field goal, then what they're going to do is rely on Dave Brown and Mike Sherrard and Chris Callaway, Brown and his receivers, to come back and win this game. And it was Brown and his receivers that had to come back and close that early gap that the defense allowed.
Meanwhile, don't forget you've got a kicker in Brad Del Wiso. And even if Peterson puts this through, a field goal would beat Seattle. Brad Del Wiso, his career best was in 1993. He kicked a 54-yarder to beat Arizona. His best this year is 51 yards, so you've got a heck of a weapon to rely on when you have no timeouts remaining.
And Seattle's kickoff team is really going to have to buckle down and contain Herschel Walker. They can't allow Herschel Walker to get one of his 40 or 50-yard returns after this field goal kick.
This drive started at the Seattle 9. Now it's 4th and 8 at the New York 14. And Todd Peterson 2 for 2 today. He's missed 4 on the year. Will try the field goal. Ball will be placed down at the 23. Officially a 32-yard field goal try. Good snap, good hold, good kick. And the Seahawks regain the lead. The Giants will have 1:27 to get into field goal range to try to move their record to 4-5. as they await the kick from Peterson, who shows us a pretty strong leg.
Once again, the important thing, and here you see it, Peterson just drills this ball, makes it like it's easy, and maybe it normally is easy, but when the game's on the line, those things are not easy. And the Giants do a nice job of putting a rush up there in the middle, Jamal Duff leaping. If Peterson kicks that ball low, the Giants have got it covered and blocked. But he doesn't. He does what he has to do, gets the height, gets the 3 points.
In what could be the game-winning drive, the Seahawks have a 13-play drive covering 77 yards, 3 minutes 52 seconds from the clock, and Peterson good from 32. He is 3 for 3 in this half, the field goal department, and Peterson puts him up by 2. And now the Giants will get it back, and don't forget the presence of Brad Delwiso, who is becoming one of the most accurate. He has always had one of the strongest legs of any kicker in the NFL. That's a heck of a weapon to have, down by 2.
Yeah, that's a heck of a weapon, and remember, so is Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker waiting deep with Tyrone Wheatley. Giants have no timeouts left. Seattle leading by 2. Squib kick. Pops up to Walker anyway. To the 25, and that is it. Rob Thomas there for Seattle. And a penalty flag on the play. Ronnie Harris helped out on the tackle as well. A penalty flag at the very end of the return. Seahawks indicating this might be against the Giants.
Well, it was a nice squib kick by Peterson to not enable Herschel Walker to set up the return. And it was a nice coverage by the Seahawks kickoff team to get down there and swarm Herschel Walker immediately.
Right now, you would have to say the Giants do have time to get into field goal range.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the receiving team, number 31. Half the distance to the goal. New York retains the ball, first down.
Killer penalty against New York and Jason Sehorn.
And that's the kind of penalty that loses the game for you, because that's a 12.5-yard difference. So 12.5 yards, that's a full play. And when you've got no timeouts and you're 123 and you got to get into field goal range, that 12 yards is like a mile.
Seahawks leading by 2. No timeouts left for Dave Brown and this Giants offense. And for one of the very few times today, the crowd gets into it here at the Kingdome. Underneath Marshall. Good move. He gets a first down across the 25, and they're back to where they would have been without that penalty assessed to Sehorn.
Yeah, and look how many seconds they had to use to get back to the 25-yard line. A lot of time.
Marked down at the 26. To the sideline, Callaway, incomplete. The ball skipped in there, and the clock will stop with 59 seconds remaining. Still time to get into field goal range for Delwiso.
Still time, but Dave Brown is going to have to be exact. He's going to have to work his receivers towards the sideline, and the Seahawks defensive backs know it. They will protect that sideline. They will look and move their coverage towards the perimeters of the field.
Giants hoping to get to, at the very least, the Seahawk 37. Brown, incomplete, nearly picked off Robert Blackman. He was out of bounds when he came down with it, and now down in distance becomes a concern as well as time.
They tried to roll Dave Brown out, but if you're going to roll your quarterback out, you've got to pin those defenders inside. You can't let Sam Adams, 98, get up into Dave Brown's face if he's going to roll out. You're not going to complete the ball with a defensive tackle in his face on the rollout.
Now 3rd and 10. That ball takes off, and Sherrard comes down with it. Mike Sherrard has had a fantastic afternoon, and now Dave Brown and the Giants, I believe, will spike it to kill the clock. What a catch by Sherrard.
Oh, that was, because if Sherrard doesn't make that catch, the Giants are in real deep, and that was not a nicely thrown ball at all.
15-yard completion, and we'll give you another look.
Here it is. Brown puts it much too high to the outside, and Sherrard just leaps and makes a kind of play you'd expect from him today because he's very hot.
Sherrard, 6 catches, 128 yards, and a touchdown. 2nd and 10 for the Giants. 2nd down and 10. Middle of the field and caught. Arthur Marshall at the 30, and the Giants are within field goal range.
Not only caught, but held on to by Arthur Marshall. He takes a wicked hit and hangs on.
And the Giants again will stop the clock with 16 seconds remaining. And it will be interesting. You wouldn't believe the Giants would go for another play, or if they do, it'll be something along the sideline.
You have to admire 2 things about that last pass. First, Dave Brown's patience for sitting in there and waiting for his receiver to get open. And second, for him throwing the ball down the middle of the field to pick up extra yardage, even though it doesn't stop the clock.
The 27-yard completion, now 2nd and 10. No timeouts remaining. And the jump ball for Callaway is incomplete.
That's a smart play by Dave Brown because he saw the pressure, he saw the heat, and the last thing he wanted to do, the last thing he could do was take a sack, because a sack moves him out of field goal range.
Brad Delwiso came onto the field, now comes back. A little daring with only 12 seconds left and no timeouts remaining. Delwiso today 1 for 1 this season, and this would be a 47-yard try or thereabouts. He is 0 for 2 in this range, but both have been blocked. Now 3rd down. Brown throws it away wisely. And Delwiso will come on and try on 4th and 10, roughly a 47-yard field goal try.
Smart play by Dave Brown. You could feel the tension of him trying to control himself to keep from running that ball.
I really don't know why the Giants kept playing with it. Had he been brought down, had he been sacked. They're left with no timeouts. Now 5 seconds on the game clock in Delwiso.
The reason being because Delwiso is 0 for 2 from this distance.
48-yard field goal try. No good. Seahawks win. So Delwiso, who has had 2 blocked in this range, gets one past the line of scrimmage, and he's wide to the right. Great game here in Seattle, and Delwiso is hot.
Well, he has the time. He has the protection this time. He just punches it to the right, and that's the game. And you hate to bring it up, but that penalty back on the kick return really was the difference in this drive for the Giants.
Giants got what they wanted. Delwiso lining up to try officially a 48-yarder. Wide to the right, and the Giants are now 3 and 6, and they get ready to go home and take on Oakland. Seattle 3 and 6 as well. And our Miller Lite player of the game is Seahawk quarterback Rick Meyer. Up and down day, especially at the end of the first half, was down very low, but he hung in there tough, and he came back to march the Seahawks down the field to set up the game-winning field goal, and the Seahawks win it 30-28. We'll take a break, come back, and wrap up a long day of football here in Seattle. Seahawks win it over New York 30-28.